Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade. And we're at episode 35 now. It's finally here, guys. It's the 1993 Royal Rumble watch-along episode. I know you guys have been waiting with bated breath, as Jim Cornette would often say. But it's finally here. We're going to get it done. I'm your host for the new listeners out there, Ray Russell. And joining me for this extravaganza is Mr. Steven Eckstadt. Steve, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be back. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. I wouldn't do 1993 Royal Rumble without you. If for those who don't know, for those who are new, I know we had a lot of new listeners pick up over the summer. For those who don't know, Steve loves the 1993, not just the Royal Rumble, actually the entire year of 1993. It was part of his childhood, and he just remembers it fondly. And yes, he will admit to you, and I'm sure before this episode's over, that he's not blind. He understands guys like the Giant Gonzalez weren't very good in the ring, but he still has fond memories of this era. So it's fun to bring you along on this ride, Steve.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you lived it, you can accept it for what it is. But if you, let's say you were born in 2001 and you went back and watch it, you would think it's the worst stuff ever. So it's all where you was born and what you grew up with. This is all I know as far as what I watched religiously as a kid. So I can find the positives in it and enjoy what I want to, and but I'll be quick to trash the trash because there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, we got great things coming up, and when I say great, I mean awful, like the Giant Gonzalez, like Bastion Booger, and so forth. That's a shout out to Tom Robinson, by the way, so forth. But yeah, before we get going, I gotta mention our social media accounts. Steve, way back when, I was asking everybody to please follow us and like us over on Facebook so that we could get our vanity URL. I believe it said we needed something like 25 likes, and that's all we needed. Well, 25 came and went, and it still didn't allow it. Finally, we got about 50, and boom, we got it. I stopped paying attention to how many followers we had over there. The next time I look, 570 followers on Facebook. You can find us over there at facebook.com/wrestling grenade. That's /RASSLIN grenade. Steve, nearly 600 followers and likes over at Facebook.
That's awesome. Shout out to all our followers on Facebook or whatever will be called as of next week. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That kind of dormant.
I totally forgot. Yeah, I totally forgot. I did read today that Facebook is planning to possibly change its name. So maybe this URL will also change by the next time we post a show. We'll keep you posted there. But as of right now, it's facebook.com/wrestling grenade. We're also on YouTube. I've been posting like a madman new videos, and I'll get into that a little bit later on as well. But we're trying to get a vanity URL on YouTube. They're a little more complicated. They want 100 follows now, or 100 subscribes, if you will. And I think we're at 86, so we're just about there. So if I can get 14 more people to subscribe to us over on YouTube, it's the Wrestling Memory Grenade channel on YouTube. You'll find it. It's got a lot of 1989 NWA on there already, and a lot of WWF from January and February of 93, and I'll continue to add as we go. But I've also been adding all of the crossover stuff. For those who don't know, between the USWA and the WWF, they were feuding in 1993 because Jerry Jarrett got called up to work for Vince in the WWF, possibly to replace Vince while he was away in prison. Of course, it doesn't happen, but Jarrett is up there, and they're sharing talent. They're sending guys down. Guys like Doink, upon his debut, he was down there working great stuff. It's already up on my YouTube account. And the narcissist Lex Luger appears in the ring in the USWA before he even makes his debut on the WWF TV. So it's crazy that Lex Luger working in Memphis is just like what Vince would call bizarro world.
Yeah, that's some awesome stuff, and it's worth subscribing to YouTube just for that stuff. Memphis is crazy. You know, it's weekly storylines that last about 2 weeks, and then you get to the Memphis show and it's over. Next thing, so it's like rapid pace. And if you haven't seen this stuff, it's tremendous. It's really good.
And
Howard Finkel as a heel.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yes, it'll blow your mind because most of the heels are faces in Memphis, and most of the faces are heels in Memphis. Vince McMahon, a heel. Yes, he was a heel in USWA before the WWF, for those who don't know. I can't wait to start posting those later on. The Giant Gonzalez is a baby face because his manager, Harvey Whippleman, who's downtown Bruno in Memphis, is a baby face. It's insane. You guys got to check those videos out as I add them. Like I said, there's already some up with Doink, Lex Luger, more to come very soon. But for right now, it is the Royal Rumble to watch along, so we'll get to that in just a moment. I do want to remind everybody to go to our Twitter account. Follow us on Twitter. That's our main account. Everything posted there first. And that is at Wrestling Grenade. Again, that's at RASSLIN Grenade on Twitter. And before we go, before we get into this show, we always quote ourselves as being the home of the free prize giveaway. And Steve has yet another giveaway to give away. And that is the Bret Hart signed autograph 8x10. And the winner, we already announced it several weeks ago on Twitter. The winner of that is at P80s. So congratulations to at P80s for winning this free prize giveaway. You can thank Steve and you can thank the Wrestling Memory Grenade, but we thank you for being a follower and a loyal listener. And just a big congratulations. Once again, Steve, you've outdone yourself.
Well, thanks to P80s for following, and I'll get that out to you as soon as possible. It runs a little bigger than an 8x10.
Okay.
It's almost like an 8x11. So think of that if you're going to frame it. A normal 8x10 frame is probably not going to hold it. We'll get that out to you, man. Thank you.
Yes, frames not included, everyone. Just to make sure you guys understand.
No, definitely not.
All right, guys.
Top
so
loader maybe, but not a frame.
Right. So here's the deal. There's 30 guys. It's the Royal Rumble. This is the first year that the winner of the Royal Rumble 1993 goes on to wrestle the champion at WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania 9, Caesar's Palace. I can't wait to get into all of that. But before we do all of that, there's 30 guys. I'm going to pretend like I have no idea who's going to win this. Steve, who's your pick? If you were watching this for the first time, who's your pick looking at that roster?
When I was a kid, I was thinking The Undertaker.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. I mean, it's obviously one of the top names in there. I'm going to throw a wild card in here, but I'm not going to tell you who my pick is. I'm going to let you listen to his promo and see if you can guess who he is.
Whoa, street fight. I like to rumble in the jungle, but all you people out there call the Royal Rumble. Well, man, I've been fighting all my life, man, to make my living. And now I'm going to make my living in WWF. I'm talking about the Royal Rumble. I got 29 other hardcore wrestlers or superstars coming at me. Well, I'm going to be fighting in the jungle because I want to meet the champion in WrestleMania 9 in Las Vegas. So I got my reservation. I'll be a winner.
All right. Steve, any guesses as to who that was?
That's your man Virgil, Meat Sauce Mafia right there.
That's my boy, Fuck Money. Virgil, going to win the Royal Rumble here in 1993. We'll have to see about that. I loved how he corrected himself during. That's not even the worst promo, but I love how he corrected himself.
No.
29 wrestlers, superstars. Like he's got that Vince in him. At least he knows, he understands.
Oh, yeah,
he's been there long enough. You're not wrestlers, you're superstars. So that's good to go. But actually, it was just a joke. I'll actually play audio from the guy who I really believe will win the Royal Rumble later on in this actual watch along. But before we do that, we got to start the watch along, Steve. So everyone out there, if you don't know how this works, if you have the Peacock app here in the United States, you want to tune up the 1993 WWF Royal Rumble, or it's probably listed by season on there. I'm not even going to get into all that right now. For those lucky to live outside of the United States, our international listeners, you guys are lucky enough to still have the WWE Network. So all you have to do is queue up the WWE Network, go to Royal Rumble 1993. If you are on the Peacock, hopefully you pay $9.99 for no commercials, or this could get a little tricky. You'll probably want to pause us if you have commercials every time your Peacock version goes to a commercial break. Just what a mess this whole thing is.
Terrible.
Again,
I only paid $5. Lucky. I'm an Xfinity customer, so I get the $5 version already, and all I got to do is pay $5 a month, my cable bill, and I get no commercials. It's worth it.
We are proud to announce the launch of WrestleCopia brand and the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, which you can find over at www.wrestlecopia.com. That's WrestleCopia.com, WrestleCopia.com. You may have heard me mention the WrestleCopia brand in passing on a variety of our shows. You might be asking, what is WrestleCopia? Well, the name derives from the words wrestle, for wrestling, and copia, which is defined as having plenty, or an abundance of. It's abundance of wrestling history over at WrestleCopia.com as the podcast network continues to grow with a variety of podcasts. Everything from our show, The Wrestling Memory Grenade, where we take a trip down memory lane to wrestling history's past as we analyze and dissect complete years of wrestling history from your favorite promotions, to Monday Warfare, The Battles Within, an in-depth look and weekly breakdown of the entire Raw vs. Nitro war, to our newest podcast, TR Shocks the World, where host Tom Robinson makes his long-awaited return to the wrestling airwaves. Tom does everything from break down the current product to share inside stories and memories from years gone by. It's discretion advised as TR shocks the world with his strong opinions, hilarious impressions, and so much more. The WrestleCopia News Network is a special feature podcast. You can expect more late-breaking news, timely discussions, and tributes to the fallen legends on future episodes of WCNN. We've also got other podcasts being prepped for their debuts, including a territory-based show we like to call The Money and the Miles. There's an old saying in the world of professional wrestling that nothing in this business is real except the money made and the miles traveled. In this podcast, we discuss the territory era, with shows focusing on everything from show reviews to yearly breakdowns to episodes focusing on some of the rare, lesser-known territories and outlaw promotions of yesteryear that remain an enigma. Stop on over to WrestleCopia.com for all the latest shows and follow us on Twitter at WrestleCopia. That's on Twitter at WrestleCopia for all the latest news and information on the podcast network. All right, so it's been a while, Steve, but it's been a while since we've done a watch along, but I'm ready, and I'm hopefully you're ready, and we'll count the guys down if you're ready to go. All right, sounds good. We're gonna count them down then, and everybody get ready to play right after I say one. That's usually how it works. We're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and press play. And as you see, as we come up, here's the letters or the Royal Rumble. And we don't get an opening. There's no 30-man list like there was in 89, 90, 91, 92. What did you think about that? I thought that really took away from me. We're just like, boom, live. Here's Gorilla and Bobby.
I didn't like it. I like the wrestler. Vince going through the 30 guys of who's going to be in the Rumble. It just makes me wonder, like, so many people were supposed to be in it, and then they're not in it. They leave the company and all that. They probably just like, you know what? Screw it. We don't even know who's in it yet, so let's just go straight to Gorilla and Bobby and call it a day.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the final pay-per-view broadcast of Gorilla and Bobby as the announce team. Is that right?
Solo, yeah. I mean, They did. Yeah, that's it.
So this is our
Jim
final
Ross
night
comes
of
in at 9.
Right. So this is our final Gorilla and Bobby pay-per-view as the Beverly Brothers make their way to the ring. You'll actually hear their real song playing during the Gorilla and Bobby opening, and then they morph over into the Beverly Brothers' first theme for whatever reason. I don't know why, because the Beverly Brothers theme plays on everything else on the network, but it's WWE, so it is what it is.
So I got to get this out here. So I recorded it when I got the pay-per-view, of course.
Sure.
I was in one of those areas, and I think it's even documented in the Observer that this happened, but I was in one of those areas where there was no audio for the first
no commentary.
7 or 8 minutes.
Yes,
yeah, no commentary at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very awkward. Wrestling without commentary.
It is, and I taped it myself, and I don't remember if I noticed it live or if I noticed the first time back I was watching it, but I was sitting there watching this match, and what Steve's meaning is, yes, we heard Bobby and Gorilla introduce the show, but when the entrances started, we lost commentary. You could still hear the crowd. You could still hear the bumps. You just couldn't hear Bobby and Gorilla, even though they were commentating. If you listen to this version, you'll see that. But it goes on for, like you said, 7 or 8 minutes. And I don't remember if it was the live version or if it was the first time I watched it back. But I'm sitting here watching the match for a couple minutes, and I'm like, something's weird. Like I couldn't pinpoint it immediately. So I watch, and they start taking bumps, and I can hear the bumps, and I'm like, there's no commentary. What the hell's going on? And then, of course, it does finally get fixed, and they come in here after a few minutes. But yeah, that was funny and a good note there. I didn't know it was only in certain areas though.
I didn't know if it was. I can't. It's been a minute since I read that Observer, but I do remember him mentioning it there. But it's weird too. Like Gorilla and Bobby were professionals, so it wasn't like they were in mid sentence or anything. They kind of just picked up as if they had an issue right there at the booth, and it caused them to not be heard, and they had to quickly fix it. That's what it almost seems like. But so I'm wondering, do you think they went back and dubbed over like the first part of this match for like a Coliseum release? Or
I wondered that, but after listening to it, I have a keen ear for that kind of stuff. After all the tapes I've been through, it really feels authentic. It feels like it was live.
Yeah.
I feel like they were commentating the entire time, and obviously it was recorded because it was recorded on a different track than the actual other stuff is recorded, like the crowd noise and stuff. So I'm assuming they just spliced it back in. But yeah, that is intriguing for nerds out there that want to know those kind of things.
Yeah, I think that's the only pay-per-view I remember where they had an issue like that. From the ones I got. I don't recall it ever happening. Because you could hear Fink, you can hear the introductions from him, the bell ring, you hear everything. You just don't hear Gorilla and Bobby. So
right. It's like watching a house show on your TV screen. And that's why it came off so weird to me when I was watching. I'm like, what's wrong here? Something's not right. And then I figured it out. It took me a couple minutes, but I figured it out. I should mention for anybody who wants to know, this took place way back on January 24th, 1993 from the Arco Arena, Sacramento, California. 16,000 fans in the house, 15,000 paid. Wish I'd been one of those 1,000 fans that got a free ticket that night. Damn, giving away Royal Rumble tickets, Steve.
I'm sure they'll be doing that again this coming year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, based on where they have it this time, I mean, I could see why. Yeah. Amongst all the other reasons, like I said, I don't even know if I could get into it if I went to it now. I'd be like, who is that guy? I don't even know who this is coming down. 3, 2, 1. Who? I don't know. I'm out of touch, guys. But I do know this is Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner. This is their first big match. In fact, they've had maybe three squash matches up to this point on TV. And this is their first real test here. Scotty almost lost Blake there on the Tilt-A-Whirl, but boom, nails it, and Blake out for a powder. Or is that Bo? That's Bo.
Von Wagner's dad, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
Looks just like him.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Von Wagner down in NXT, that's Wayne Bloom there. Bo Beverly is his father. So second-generation star. Out of all the guys who had second-generation kids, I don't know that I would ever have guessed Bo Beverly would be one of those guys, but I guess why not?
I mean, his son's jacked. He looks really good. So he has a lot of potential. And then we got Rick Steiner's son down there too. So
that's a good call. Yeah. So we see both their daddies here in the Royal Rumble. 1993, fast forward 28 years later, 28 and a half years later. Jeez. And yeah. Should note the dark match here at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view featured Doink the Clown over Jimmy Powers in about 6 minutes. I'm assuming he was using the stump puller gimmick here. At least that's what he's been doing in the TVs I've been watching here after. So Doink made an appearance here at the Royal Rumble, although nobody's ever seen it.
Sure, it's out there somewhere in WWE land.
Yeah. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Show you where we are in regards to viewers at this point here in January of 1993. Royal Rumble 91 does 440,000 buys, and that's pretty bad. It's not awful, but it's pretty bad because we're starting the decline there. Royal Rumble 92 with Ric Flair winning the world title does only 260,000 buys, which is crazy because it's most people hold it up there as their favorite Royal Rumble. And look at Rick here. I feel like a Steiner line's coming. No, it's the Buzz Sawyer Power Slam. So we go from 260,000 the year before to, according to Meltzer, Royal Rumble 93 does 175,000 buys. It's the lowest buy rate in WWF pay-per-view history besides the Tuesday in Texas pay-per-view. So that's
up to this point.
Yeah, right? up to this point. Right, yeah.
Yeah. What did 90 do? Do you know?
Ooh, I didn't save that one. I don't even know if I found it. So Scotty with the overhead there. Steiner's just owning the Beverly Brothers. for those who listened to the last episode of the Grenade, we were talking about the house show marriages in January of 93. Ooh, nice spot there by the Beverlys to take over. Cut Scotty off. Nice bump, cool. Too, by Scott Steiner. But for those who don't know, the Beverlys were basically relegated to glorified job guy status at this point. They lost the Genius after the Survivor Series, and in January they were basically playing filler for anyone and everyone who was injured. Papa Shango, I think it was Razor Ramon might have been injured. Yeah, the knee injury. So they were just filling in for these guys on house shows, not even in tag team matches, and that's basically where they've been. They haven't even been on TV yet here in 1993 up until this point.
Wow. I mean, that's good, though. Like, you know, the man trusts them. McMahon trusts them to go out there and put on a decent match against anyone and everyone. So,
problem with that is he trusted the Brooklyn Brawler too. So I'm sure these guys weren't happy with their position on the card at this point. And we've already discussed how badly they needed tag teams at this time. So it just seemed silly that they demoted these guys to whatever degree you want to call it.
Oh, I mean, they looked like scrubs their entire run, really. They never got big wins or anything. They were jobbing to LOD as soon as they came in, or 92 they came back. So.
I was on that. I went to that house show loop. I remember those matches.
Did you get the 6-man or just the regular tag?
The tag.
Yeah, I know there's like a 6-man out on one of those Coliseum videos with Ellering and the Genius.
Yeah, it's a fun story. My uncle, who I mentioned on Twitter not too long ago, was the man who took me to my first ever wrestling event. He passed away. That's not the fun part of the story, obviously. He passed away in an semi-truck accident recently, but he was not a wrestling fan whatsoever. He didn't hate it. Usually somebody, you either meet somebody that hates wrestling or they love wrestling. There's no really in between. Oh, that shit's fake, right. Or oh yeah, I love wrestling. There's really no middle ground. He was a middle ground guy, or at least if he didn't like it, he would never let us know because he didn't want to, ruin our time. But out of the goodness of his heart, he would take us to the matches quite often. And he took us to that specific show. I remember him being there because he marked out for the fans chanting LOD. It was that simple. He marked out that somebody in wrestling was that over that they could get an LOD. And he would bring that up like 3 years later. Man, do you remember that LOD? And it was so funny that resonated with him for, all that time. He didn't know who the hell the Legion of Doom were, but he just thought that was cool that, they could command, however many thousand people chanting for him. So that was pretty, Scotty, close to the ropes there.
Yeah, a little close. Yeah, that just goes to show, like, it takes something that simple to make a memory for these guys. So, for a fan or even just a casual viewer just going to take you, I mean, it resonated with him to the degree, like, it's crazy. It really is. It's back then it was so simple, the matches, and it was all about the stories and things like that, to where you wanted to go see the matches, and it took nothing. I'm not saying it's easy, but compared to what you got to do now to get over, it was a cakewalk back then.
Right. Oh, because, here we go. Boom. We might get
the littlest thing.
I know. Yeah, you're right. And the Steiners did more than the average WWF wrestler. That's for certain. Yeah. Especially here.
Like they haven't been
neutered
yet.
Yeah,
they haven't been neutered yet. They're doing what they want.
Right.
Then again, like, I don't think Scott Steiner ever got neutered. Let's be real. I mean,
they were going to do what they were going to. Here we go. Hot tag to Rick.
I mean, Rick still talks about it, that if Scott gets his mind made up on something, he's going to do what he wants. He doesn't care.
Look at that. Oh, my God. What a release, German. Oh,
love it.
Holy. For those not watching, you guys got to do yourself a favor. Go back and watch from the hot tag forward at the very least in this match. Rick just launches Blake Beverly on the back of his head in a release German. And there's still more good shit coming up here, too.
Oh, yeah. About 11 minutes in, and you can enjoy the goodness.
Oh, Steiner line takes Bo's head off. Bo tried the inside out bump, and he ate it.
I don't know, like, how Vince can watch this and think, man, we got to tone the Steiners down. They're getting too rough out there. Like,
well, I don't know if it was just Vince. It may have also been some of the wrestlers they were in the ring with. Yeah.
Hey, man, tone it down out there.
Oh, this is a great spot here. Here we go. Scotty up there, kind of going for the Legion of Doom, the Doomsday device here, but Scott will roll forward. I love this when I saw the victory roll. I want to say this should have been the finish because I'd never seen anything like that before, but let's pick up the finish, shall we? Oh my God, that had to be one of the best Frankensteiners in history. You can best believe that Frankensteiner will be making its way onto our social media accounts very soon. Actually, it already is now that I think about it.
Blake didn't sell long enough for me. He ate that one.
Well, sometimes when you get knocked silly, and I'm not saying that happened, but sometimes you get knocked silly, you don't remember to sell. So
there you go.
But man, that was a Franken driver. Not a Frankensteiner, a Franken driver. Blake right on the top of his dome. What a nice little solid opener. It wasn't Rockers and Orient Express 4+ star match, but it served its purpose. The Beverlys held their own. They looked good out there, and the Steiners shine like they should have in a great finish.
Yeah, I agree. And the Steiners established themselves to what they could be. It's just a shame they got neutered.
Yeah, and it wasn't just in the ring. It was just booking-wise. The booking wasn't there.
I don't know if that's necessarily WWF's fault or Steiner's.
Here we go again.
The roster was depleted.
Boom! Slow motion. Wrestling's fake? What? I don't know. I think we're going to, here's going back to Gorilla and Bobby right now. They're going to throw it to a Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty feud video package. So I'm going to
get those very much back then.
No, but I'm gonna pick that audio up, and I have something to say about that too when after it plays out. Let's go to Bobby and the Gorilla.
They were tag team specialists. They were one of the most popular tag teams in the World Wrestling Federation. They were the Rockers. And Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty thrived on teamwork with incredible precision moves like this. The Rockers were collectively at the top of their game. Now, admittedly, they were having some problems. But in the barbershop, Marty Jannetty had a chance to show the world he could put their differences aside, shaking hands with Shawn Michaels. As a team, they could strive for greatness when all of a sudden, this happened.
Oh, I knew he was going to do that. I just knew he was going to do that. He don't need Jannetty. I told you that off and on.
Are you kidding? What a despicable act that was.
Oh, my God.
Right through the glass window of the barber shop.
Look at the confidence in this guy.
Unquestionably, one of the highly skilled, one of the most, what is this?
Hey, that's Marty Jannetty.
No, yes it is. That's exactly who it is. Marty Jannetty's in the ring with Shawn Michaels. Michaels can't believe what he sees. Yes, turn around. Marty Jannetty.
After what Shawn Michaels did to Jannetty, I didn't think we'd ever see Jannetty again.
Jannetty with Michaels. Flips him to the air. Jannetty has returned to the WWE.
He's outraged.
Jannetty whipping Michaels. Look at this. What's going to happen? Oh, what a clothesline.
Jannetty's got no business being in the ring. He wasn't signed to wrestle Shawn Michaels.
You recall Shawn Michaels throwing Marty Jannetty through the barber shop window. He was lacerated. You recall that. Now he's chosen this time to return. Look at this. Wait. Marty Jannetty snatches that mirror away from sensational Sherri. And I think I know where it's going. No. I know exactly where it's going.
Where's Sergeant Slaughter at? Get somebody down there.
Here he goes. Oh, no.
Oh, my. He deliberately hit Sherri. What? He deliberately hit Sherri with the mirror right in the head.
He did not.
Oh, what a disgusting man that Shawn Michaels is, huh?
What a piece of shit.
What a great story, though. I mean, yeah, it took him from basically Marty was gone by Rumble time
All 92.
last year. Yeah, returns on Halloween. So yeah, Marty's gone like 9 months at least. And here comes Sherri out. We don't know whose corner she's in, even though she's already been accompanying Marty Jannetty to the ring on the TV tapings prior to this. So we will find out shortly. Not that there was ever a doubt what was going to happen here, I don't think. But yeah, what I was going to say was on the original version, where we talked about the audio, the commentary audio was missing on some of the Steiner brothers match. Also, at the beginning of that video package, for the nerds out there that like to know these little fun facts, it sounded like the audio was playing over the arena of the Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty video package, and then it fixes before it's over. So it just seemed like there were some audio issues here early on. Oh my God, what are you wearing? What did you call him, Steve? The Michelin tire man?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can talk about Michelin tires these days, but there he is, Marty Jannetty. Oh my God, who put that together?
Probably the same person that put them all together. Wasn't that like Shawn's mom or something?
Ooh, I have no idea, but I will say this: Marty wore that WrestleMania 7 outfit to death. He never wore this one again. All these shoestrings.
Yeah, something. Good Lord. I remember right. I think he said his mom made their first, like, when they were like the Midnight Rockers, their mom put stuff together for him. Shawn's mom, I think it was. I could be wrong.
Well, that's possible, but by this point, Shawn certainly wasn't using his mom to make these videos. No,
Shawn's using his money wisely. Looks like $1 million here. So does Sherri. Sherri's looking nice.
Yeah, they do. I mean, she does, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And this is the match that gets, this isn't the match that gets Marty Jannetty fired. He actually gets fired the following taping. But this plays into it. I've told the story before. I'll try to tell a fast version of it. Marty gets hired back to do this angle. They're going to wrestle. The blow-off's supposed to be at WrestleMania 9. That's the big plan. And again, they were supposed to wrestle WrestleMania 8. So 2 years in a row that doesn't happen. 2 years in a row because Marty Jannetty gets fired right around Royal Rumble time. And in this instance, the match doesn't go as Vince thought it was going to go. He thought it was going to be a much bigger match. And you can blame the agents for that a little bit because they were giving these matches between Marty and Shawn, the practice matches, if you will, on the house shows going up to this, high praise. The greatest match we've ever seen in the ring here. And Vince is expecting this high flying or this good match, but somebody, I don't know if it was Vince or someone else, told them to slow the pace down, change up the match style. We end up getting what we get, which is a perfectly acceptable match, but it's not what you would expect. It's a major letdown from fans out there looking for 4 and 5 star matches. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I didn't care about that stuff when I was a kid, but I remember watching. I was like, man, that's a letdown. And then nothing really happens. The way it ends, you kind of expect it to go, like you said, to Mania, but it doesn't happen. So it's just like that even added to it later on. It's like, man, it wasn't very good. I mean, it was fine, but like you mentioned earlier, the Rockers and Orient Express, that's kind of what I thought, but it's just in a singles scenario with these two. So we definitely didn't get that. It could have been better, but wasn't there some other issues here from this match?
Yeah, absolutely. Story goes
Shawn starting his shit.
Story goes, absolutely. The next day, Shawn wasn't happy with this match. He was kind of blaming Marty for it, even though, honestly, from everybody that's told their version of it, it was really Shawn who was lethargic because he had stayed out the entire night prior to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view here. But he blames Marty. Not that either guy's really off here. It's just not, like we said, what we expected. But Shawn's kind of pissy about the match. Marty's sleeping. He's not passed out. He's sleeping, which is common for wrestlers to do based on their schedules, at the TV tapings the following day in the locker room. Well, Shawn goes and reports him as being drunk and passed out. And off goes Ray the Crippler Stevens, who was an agent for a short period of time there in the WWF, and he reports it to Vince. Next thing you know, Marty Jannetty is fired. Of course, Mr. Perfect finds out that the story Shawn told was fabricated, and he basically forces Shawn Michaels to go tell Vince, I don't know if he said I lied, but he was wrong, we'll put it that way. And then that obviously we'll see Marty return once Mr. Perfect gets Shawn to tell Vince the truth.
Yeah, just shit. I mean, I don't understand these politics in the games people play. Is he just trying to get Marty in trouble before he gets caught? Or, like, what's the deal here? But it is what it is. It's Shawn Michaels being Shawn Michaels. And
it's Shawn Michaels not wanting to take a bump on a suicide dive right there is what that is.
Yeah, that's what that was. Pretty rough. But I will say, I'm with you to kind of go back to the beginning of this, like the video package. We didn't get those very often, so it was kind of cool to see everything. And they chose a great match to highlight it just because, like you said, it was a 9-month gap between the barbershop to the mirror angle, which was truly tremendous production right there. Shawn's reaction to see Marty in the mirror is just
that was great.
Phenomenal.
Right,
it's excellent. So getting the video package to see everything and have Mean Gene kind of talk over it was awesome. But
yeah, like you said, we didn't really get video packages. Everybody's spoiled nowadays, especially from the Attitude Era forward. But back then, that was safe for something, usually the main event, like a Mega Powers or something like that.
Yeah, very rare. And to be honest, a lot of those video packages was just highlights of things that happened. There was no really voiceover or anything. I wonder if this is like one of the first times that they actually had somebody voice over the package.
Oh, that's a good call. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, Mean Gene doing the voiceover to explain the entire feud, the entire storyline over the course of the last year. Actually, beyond the last year, because they were a tag team prior to the barbershop. So, and here we go. And this is what everybody points out. Yes, Shawn Michaels picks Marty Jannetty up, rams his right shoulder into the ring post, and from this point forward, look at Marty Jannetty selling his left arm. I noticed that, and people are going to call bullshit. As a kid, and I can get at least 3 people to come on here and admit to that, because me, 2 of my cousins, and my brother made fun of it our entire teenage years growing up whenever we would watch this or talk about this. Everybody gives Marty shit for it. And it's really not... Fault. Yeah, it is Shawn's fault. And yes, Steve, I'll let you tell them why in a second, but I just wanted to say, everybody... all the know-it-alls online have always blamed Marty for this. Oh, Marty, he doesn't even know what he's so drunk. He doesn't even know which shoulder to sell. Steve, why don't you tell them why he's selling the left shoulder?
Because that's the one that's in front of the camera. You can see it on the hard camera almost every time. So he starts selling it to remind Shawn that, hey, ram this arm in. If you could see it, Shawn has to come out and redo the spot pretty much.
Right. And the reason he's doing it, and like you said, I mean, he's got to go show Shawn, you did the wrong shoulder. Come do something else to this so I don't look like a fool. But the reason they're doing that is, I'm going to break kayfabe here. That's the side of the body that the wrestlers work. You work the left arm. You work the right arm. Left arm, left leg. I'm sorry. Unless you're in Mexico. In Lucha Libre, it's the right side. But in America here and in most other countries, you work the left side. Sorry, I broke kayfabe there for those who didn't know that. But here we go. Shawn attacking Marty in the aisleway. But Shawn, of course, screws up and sends Marty right shoulder first into the post. And for years and years and years online, all I've ever read are people making fun of Marty Jannetty. And it's Marty being the professional here and correcting Shawn. And then obviously, here we are.
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, after that second shoulder move to the post, he's selling the right arm the way he's supposed to, which would be the left arm. So it's just that initial reaction to the first post job that people are bitching about, and it's stupid.
Well, no, it's very noticeable. I mean, and if it was Jannetty being stupid, it would be hilarious. But it's actually Jannetty. I hate to cut everybody off, but it's Jannetty being a professional and knowing his fucking business. Pardon my French.
And when you think about it, if Shawn was the one that was out all night and Marty wasn't, maybe Shawn forgot something,
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's that. It's just I picked him up, and this is the way we did the spot. But Shawn should have known better, absolutely. But here we go now, and this is the difference maker. The matches on the house shows were boom, 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 and now we're telling a story of Shawn working over Marty Jannetty's arm. Right. So this is not the kind of match you expect between a Shawn Michaels and a Marty. The Rockers. If you grew up on the Rockers, this is not what you're expecting.
The Raw match is definitely better.
Oh, yeah, by leaps and bounds. Speaking of leaps, there's a double X.
And just think if if Shawn didn't get Marty fired, we would have probably had that match at WrestleMania. I could see it, like if Marty stuck around and they actually did get to Mania, like why give away the blow off really good match that you've been doing on the Rumble if you're trying to make this last till Mania? Leave him wanting more. Like, okay, that was a decent match. It was good. Nothing wrong, but let's go above and beyond. Let's do that match that everybody expects us to do. But that seems to be a theme
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know that that's what they were thinking necessarily, but
no. But
this is still. I mean, there's just a long chunk of time here where these guys are just so much more capable than this.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the theme with Shawn Michaels in '93.
It is. It's sad to say. My God, all the dream matches he was going to have, and I was marking out for all of them. I didn't know what a 4 or 5 star match was in 1993, but I knew what a sweet fucking match was. And I mean, to tell you, this match and the match with Kurt Hennig, which I held to even higher standards in my mind before it happened. I was expecting these two matches to be my 2 favorite matches of the year. And instead we get what we get here. And again, there's nothing wrong with this match. I've reviewed this match. I've done a write-up of this pay-per-view before years and years ago. And I remember basically giving this thing a if you want to call it a star rating, like a 3.5 star or something. It's not bad. It's a typical wrestling match. It's just you expect much more from these two. I hate to keep saying it, but I just did. And Marty's now basically screwed as a character in the ring, if you want to call it that, because now he really can't fight back the way we're accustomed to seeing Marty Jannetty fight back.
Yeah.
Because he's got to sell the arm.
I wonder. I doubt they have the agents list for these matches from back then.
Yeah, I doubt they.
I wonder who had this one. I don't even know who the agents would be at this time, but.
Yeah, I mean, back then it was a little different, though. They would give you a finish, you would get your time, and then they might have gave you an idea of something that they wanted out of the match. But it's not like today where they put every single move, together and things like that. That you got to run everything by the agent. It was much more simple in those days.
They're really
you were treated like
that?
a professional that you know what you're doing. Oh, the boot to the face?
No, now, like, really? They can't write their own matches or do their own stuff?
I think to a degree, but I've heard a lot of the times they got to run their match by the agent in front of the agent, so they get the okay.
Wow. Well, I guess that's how you get everything to look the same.
And the idea would be you want everything to look different, right? You would think nowadays.
You would think. Oh, man.
And Shawn now, how ironic. The irony, yeah, Shawn takes the shoulder to the post, and now he's down.
Same post. Yeah.
Right.
At least it wasn't the legs, If they were working the legs, that would have been really bad.
Would have been Bulldog versus Diesel bad? I don't know.
No, but I will say this was the match I was looking forward to because they had the hot angles, and
oh yeah,
you wanted to see Marty get his revenge, and then they come out here and it's just like working the arm. And
yeah, I was a huge Shawn Michaels fan at this time, but based on the story, I didn't mind Marty Jannetty getting. I wanted him to get a win here. It felt like he deserved that win as a wrestling fan, So I was all gung ho for Jannetty to get the win here. Obviously, if there really was plans for WrestleMania 9, then I get it. He shouldn't have won here. So, but if he was going to win at WrestleMania, that I don't know either. Talk about burying a guy, but beat him twice, but it's happened.
It's Shawn Michaels, man. You don't want to do the job for nobody.
That's right. Especially when a title's on the line.
Yeah. So he didn't even lose this one.
There's Sherri. And I'll leave it at that. I'll let Sherri speak for herself here. So and there we go. It's finally been confirmed. She came out by herself. We weren't exactly sure whose corner she was in. Now that was it. The slap to Shawn Michaels' face. We know Sherri has aligned herself with Marty Jannetty.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but Shawn sold better for that Sherri slap than he did anything else Marty's done. He sold that slap better than anything.
Yeah, it is what it is. So that was a very lazy back suplex, and I don't even want to call it a bridge. Shawn taking a Harley Race bump in the corner there to the floor. Now we're picking up some
finish
speed.
Doesn't even save this one
right
from the letdown that it was.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's not enough. We go into the finish here. Shawn starts taking these flippity bumps, and it's just too little too late, really.
Yeah. The way we're talking, you probably think, man, this match is terrible. It's really not, but it's kind of like the WrestleMania 12, Shawn and Bret, you have all these high expectations, and it's like 30 minutes of rest holds. And it's very slow and methodical, and it's not what I would have anticipated.
Jannetty going up for the fist drop here, it looks like. Up, Shawn out of the way, but Marty on his feet. DDT. Haven't seen that one from Jannetty before.
Jannetty looked good. I think he's looked better than Shawn this match.
Oh, absolutely. Shawn's just, I don't know, he's just kind of there.
It seems like he's going through the motions.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jannetty ducks the super kick, lands his own, perhaps even a little better than Shawn Michaels here in 93.
Morella selling it.
Yeah. Near fall on the Jannetty super kick. Sunset flip from Shawn Michaels. Nope, that didn't work. You can tell we're getting to the finish now. We're going through the pinning combinations. Looking like a catapult coming up.
Too bad we didn't get 10 more minutes of this part of the match.
Yeah. Shawn hits
something.
Shawn hits the post a la Kurt Hennig, and it's still not enough to take out Shawn Michaels, though. Oh, that was Shawn
totally deliberate.
Yeah, clearly deliberate. Cocks his fist back to hit Jannetty, but he looks back as he's doing it to make sure he nails the referee and knocks Joey Morella out. And now it's Jannetty.
Now they don't know.
Holding Shawn.
Know what they're doing.
Yeah. Sherri comes in and, all right.
Sherri comes in. Dress.
Yes. Oh, and she nails Marty Jannetty. This is probably the idea, or probably where Hogan got the idea to use the shoe in WCW. Because Marty is out cold from a high heel to the head. And now Shawn going after Sherri. Can only imagine what Bobby Heenan's saying right now.
He's going in, I'm sure.
And Shawn going to corner Sherri here as we head into the home stretch of this match. Shawn looks back, man. He's having a bad time looking back for his spots right now.
Come on, Marty. Let's go.
Yeah, Marty. You've been knocked out too long from this shoe. He's going to go pick him up. Jannetty's just not getting up. And, terrible.
He couldn't get up, but then he goes inside out on the super kick.
Yeah. Shawn with one of his lamest super kicks of all time. Of course, that wasn't his finisher at the time either, but still a lame super kick. And then Marty takes the inside-out bump. The whole thing just looked
was he looking back at Marty, or was he looking back at Morella? Like, hey, get it moving.
I think let's pick this one. I think he was looking at Marty. But let's go see.
Shawn Michaels. Looks like Hogan is having a little trouble trying to talk to her. Boy, could he consider himself lucky. Right now, Shawn is watching the video wall. He sees what's going on back there. And now he's about to make his way back into the locker room area. Oh, I bet he's got something to say to her. Big time. Come on. Well, he's gone out of our sight. Sherri. There goes Jannetty. Whoa.
Sherri! Damn it! Settle down! You are hysterical!
I had to get that in there. Damn it! Settle down. Here we go. The flying orange.
Go flying.
Oh, the flying orange. my favorite part of the entire pay-per-view. I don't know. We've laughed about that for damn near 30 years.
Me too.
The flying orange.
Me too.
And it's we get a pull apart brawl from Marty and Shawn here. Shawn's going after Sherri. We're clearly leading. We should have been looking for a revenge match, obviously, but most people are just paying attention to a flying orange across the screen.
Pretty much.
Well, I hope you have filler and things to talk about, Steve, because up next is a match I have nothing to say about. It's and it saddens me to say that because it features one of my most favorite wrestlers of that entire era, the Big Boss Man, taking on Bam Bigelow. This isn't Boss Man's last match. It's damn near Boss Man's last televised match. Of course, he quit the company near the end of last year, 1992, and he's finishing up dates here throughout January, and I think maybe a little bit of February before the Boss Man's gone. Of course, I mentioned on an earlier episode that he quit. According to Jim Cornette, Cornette just mentioned this earlier here in 2021. Boss Man called him and told him he was quitting because he thought Vince was going to go to prison for the steroids and all these other things. And Boss Man was a law enforcement officer in his mind, and he should not be associated with a crook. I guess I suppose it really doesn't make sense to me. He was a heel when he came in. He handcuffed guys and beat the crap out of them. Although he didn't take bribes, Steve. He did not take bribes.
He did not do that. So I don't even know what to say to that. Like, why not let it play out? But I guess if you're on trial, you done something wrong, supposedly. But it's like, buddy, it's a gimmick, you know. It's not real.
Yeah, fast forward just over a year later, and he has the gimmick stripped. So it's
God.
But yeah, that you would figure two of the best big guys in the history of this business, Bam Bigelow and the Big Boss Man, especially the Big Boss Man, here in the WWF. I mean, he had some really good matches with some of the, throughout the early 90s once he trimmed down. But Bam was a hell of an agile athlete for his size as well. And then what we get here is just anything but good. I can't blame Bam because I'm sure he came with his working boots on. He just got hired. He'd only been back 3 months at this point. But Boss Man's on his way out, and I guess he really wasn't having anything. If I remember correctly, this entire match is all Bam, and anytime Boss Man does anything, it's typically just punches.
He's already selling the back like it's completely shot. So,
well, yeah. The sooner you do that, the
10 minutes.
the sooner you do that, the sooner you can fall down and never have to get back up.
If this is what Boss Man was going to be, he should have just got squashed. 3 minutes, wham, bam, done, move on.
I could have went for a match 10 minutes is a long time to come out here and just get beat up.
Get the shit beat out of you. Especially when you're the Big Boss Man. Like, I remember as a kid, like, what the hell's going on with the Boss Man?
My mind was blown.
I was like, he just destroyed him. So you're looking at Bam as like a serious contender after this. I don't know if that was the intention at all, but he demolishes the Boss Man, and nobody's ever done this to the Boss Man.
Well, I do know directly after the Royal Rumble, the house shows, they started doing Bam against Bret for the belt.
Yeah.
But that was just a house show deal. I don't know that this was done specifically for that. I just think Boss Man was like, I don't want to do anything, so just beat me up and I'll roll around for you and we'll take it home. That's what it comes off to me like. I just think he's cashed out.
Yeah. He doesn't even want to be out there.
No, there was no story going into this. Bam was new, or not new, but he's back from his 1988 run. If you listen to them, he never existed up until this run, which was pretty frequent in the WWF style. And Boss Man's on his way out, Boss Man's on his way out. I didn't know it at the time. So, yeah, you're right. I was like, what the hell is going on? Not only did he lose, because I wasn't even used to seeing the Boss Man get pinned, much less just beat the crap out of and then pinned. So it made very little sense to me.
Yeah, I was baffled. So, I don't know.
And
definitely odd. This is like a very odd match in the history of WWF. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just oddly placed. It doesn't fit in with the rest of this entire card. Yeah, Boss Man does have his right hand taped up too. I'm wondering if it was broken or something at that point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Unless you know the backstory of Boss Man on his way out and just kind of cashing checks.
Look at those punches. How lazy.
Oh my God. That's why the camera does.
For those who aren't watching, when we say look at those punches, we're not putting them over. We're talking about how horrible they look. And those are Boss Man punches. One of the best punchers in the business at the time. Oh my gosh, this is almost embarrassing to watch.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder, like, two things. One, he doesn't care. Two, like, his hand's really jacked. And
it could be a combination of both.
He doesn't want to risk it.
But let me ask you this, Steve. If your hand is broken or injured or whatever the case may be here, and clearly there's something going on, why would your entire arsenal in this match be punches? See? Keep watching. I mean, have you seen him do anything besides a punch yet? And whatever that
the
was.
headlock thing and that ugly thing, but it was with the same hand. And he just used it to push himself up like off his knee. So it must not be hurting too bad. He's doing all these things.
Here goes a bump. Oh, now he has reason to sell his back. He's like, oh man, now I really got hurt. Damn it. I was trying to avoid that before I quit. Before I walk out.
And I think that's it. That's it of the Boss Man momentum. And
yeah, I know. Like he does his little comeback near the end, but it's very little.
Does he do the slide under? Right hand?
Yeah. I know he slides out of the ring. I just don't know how good the punch looks.
Probably. Hopefully, I wish it. Did it sound good? That punch always sounded good.
I doubt it. Well, I don't know. I mean, we can try to pick it up, but I don't see the point of listening to audio. I hate to give this match any audio. It doesn't deserve any audio.
I feel bad for Bam Bam.
This should have been the dark match. Give me Doink the Clown over Jimmy Powers.
I was going to say that during the Steiner match. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Doink and Jim Powers. At least Jim Powers has energy.
Yeah. Jim Powers off the gas here in 1993, but I'm happy we got to see the Steiners. Now, this match, there wasn't anything really wrong with the Steiners. I know what you meant. I got you.
I mean, I
wanted to see it on the show.
It would be nice to see that match. Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of. I think they did like a photo album on WWE.com a long time ago. I think where they showed a picture of Doink at the Rumble '93, like coming down the aisle or whatever. So it's definitely out there. They have it. They just don't want to show it.
Bitches.
And DVDs are like non-existent anymore. So we'll never get like another unreleased album.
Hidden gems are also a thing of the past.
Yeah, because I don't know if you saw like on the network version, the international, they created different categories. So it's like AWA house shows, WCW house shows. They're basically getting rid of the hidden gem section altogether, it seems like. So
look at this awesome
the stuff's still there.
What a maneuver. Do you think Vince is on commentary right now? This would be what a maneuver. Bam Bigelow with a reverse bear hug, and looks like Boss Man's going to break free.
I will say the good part about that move. Oh, another bump.
Hot shot.
Say, like, the bear hug itself was at least he was driving his head and his lower back to kind of work the back too.
See, I was taking it differently. Even though the bear hug sucks, that looks even worse to me. Like at least you're cranking on someone's spine theoretically with a bear hug. A reverse bear, you're cranking on somebody's gut. Like it's silly.
Yeah, that's just Bam Bam catching his wind.
Oh, I agree with you. I can see that. Yeah, he is gassed because he's doing all the damn work here. Boss Man's just flopping around.
Everything.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, back to the.
That just looks so terrible.
It does. It doesn't. There's like it doesn't even look realistic. Like he doesn't even make it look like it's supposed to hurt. Bam Bam, just like a waist lock. It's basically a waist lock, Steve. Now that I think about it, he's got him in a friggin' waist lock.
And this one, he's just like laying on the side of his back. He's not even driving his head into the back. He's trying to, but.
This is awful.
This is terrible.
There's no reason for this to go 10 minutes.
No, I'd love to know the agent on this one.
Yeah, who booked this shit?
Guys, you got 10 minutes. Yeah, you got 10 minutes for this one.
Well, we gave Shawn and Marty 15, so we'll give you guys 10.
Jesus, give the Steiners 10. Let them kill the Beverlys for like 3 extra minutes.
No, I think the Steiners did get 10. If I look at my times here, let's see.
You could have shaved 5 off of this, and we could have given you 15.
Steiner's over Beverly's, 10 minutes, 34 seconds. Shawn over Marty, 14 minutes and 20 seconds. So this goes only 4 minutes shorter than Shawn and Marty. Bossman and Bam Bam goes 10 minutes, 10 seconds. For those counting along at home.
I will say this is a far cry from Bossman versus the Barbarian.
Yeah. Yeah, Bossman versus...
That was actually a damn good match.
Oh, yeah. I think it's underrated. Nobody really talks about it, and It's really good.
Boss Man got a good match out of Barbarian.
Watch this, Steve. Watch this suplex. I remember this. Oh boy!
Doesn't he just like roll to the side?
They just fall over to the side. Oh my god!
He's selling the back, man.
Yeah. Well, if Gorilla picked up on that, maybe he pointed that out. But oh my gosh!
He did the suplex and then doesn't even get up to recover.
That, if you want to call that a suplex, that was like a suplex swinging neck breaker. I don't even know. They fell. For those not watching, they fell over to the side. It was like Andre 1987 Survivor Series to Bam Bam. Come to think of it, when he tried to give him that double underhook.
Or Hogan at Main Event 88.
Oh man,
February of 88.
This is everything bad that you've ever seen in every match ever. And I hate saying that about these two. Bam Bam misses across. Boss Man, too lazy to even get down, just ducks his head. Bam Bam, thank God, clears him when he misses the crossbody. Here comes the big comeback. Oh, backdrop. That was all Bammer taking a nice bump. That was a solid backdrop bump from Bam Bam Bigelow, I got to say.
That was nice. How the hell could he continue to go on?
Here we go. You want to see if it makes a noise? Let's see if I can pick it up.
Ride him, cowboy!
What is in that hand? I bet that hand is loaded.
Oh, another big roundhouse.
Oh, not only did he miss him, he slid out of the ring like 6 feet from him. It's like it's somebody else in Boss Man's body doing this match. And this should do it. Here comes a nasty clothesline, takes him down. And that should do it. This is
Boss Man the rest of his career.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Once he realized he could get paid to work like this. Although I did like him as the boss for those couple months. He was the boss in WCW. He had a good match with Rude. 1, 2, 3, and that's it.
What the hell I wonder what he said to him.
I have no idea. Like, what shit? Thank God it's over.
Enjoy the squash.
Oh my God, that was a train wreck, and that was not fun to watch or make it through. It was only 10 minutes. I mean, we've watched some pretty crappy things, and they went way longer than that, but that was a rough one.
That's bad. Oh, I love this.
Oh, we're going to see. There's Razor attacking Owen on Mania.
The Zuba's on.
Yeah, it must be time for the WWF title match here pretty soon. Razor challenging the Hitman, so he attacks his brother here to make it personal. In fact, they do an interview here, Razor Ramon, at a Sacramento Kings game. I was going to pick that up because
Your daddy teach you that one, man?
Yeah. Hey, Rocket.
I've seen this. I've seen this so many times that I know what they say. Like I had the pre-show, and they did the whole segment between Bret and Razor from Superstars, the interview on the video wall.
Yeah.
Like I know it word for word. I've seen it so many times.
I was going to pick up this promo here by Razor. I know it's coming. It was kind of unique. He did an interview at an NBA game, so I just thought it was very different.
Well, this, I think, Arco was brand new arena. Like, it was relatively new.
Well, let's listen to the bad guy.
This arena, I'm going to have gold on my fingers, gold around my neck, and Hitman, I'm going to have your gold around my waist. So, Rougeau, take your camera crew and beat it, man.
Well,
And yo, Hitman, get some sleep, Chico. I see you tomorrow, man. Now beat it, Rougeau.
Man, Ray Rougeau was like everywhere during this period. He's just interviewing everybody everywhere.
He's underrated, man. People kind of forget about him. I always thought he was good. I didn't mind him.
No, and I knew him, obviously, from the Rougeau brothers, so that added to me. It's like he had credibility with me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, too, while Razor's coming down here. I guess the Mountie, Jacques, is actually having a autograph signing with his brother, and I guess that's really rare. He's doing like 2 of them in the States next year.
My understanding is they don't really get along.
They're not. No, they don't. And Jacques' like, well, my brother's doing an autograph signing with me. He must be sick or COVID or something. So,
well, he did get canned from WWE as part of the French announce team, so he probably needs the moolah.
I would love to get. This is cool too.
You want to hear this?
But,
we'll pick it up.
I mean, it's shit, but
okay.
No, it's just cool that they did it. It's just different that they did it.
I got what you're saying. Yeah. We didn't see interviews at the entrance curtains very often.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it definitely gave across that live feel versus those pre-tape promos we used to get for years of all the wrestlers before they came out to the match. So
definitely different.
Yeah, when you said this was cool, I was like, I don't remember a Bret Hart interview in 1993 being cool, but I'll take your word for it. I was still questioning.
This one ain't bad because it's short and sweet.
Yeah, that seems short. Yeah.
Yeah, it's short and sweet to the point. So
I should point out for anybody looking for these type of things, Razor Ramon has that extra brace or whatever you want to call it underneath that left knee pad. He was out most of January with a knee injury, a bum knee, and he came back to work this pay-per-view, and he'll be out again, I think.
This is cool too.
For a period of time. Yeah, this is definitely different. Yeah, this is the first time here. Is that JJ back there? JJ, they're at the desk. Bret Hart waiting to go out through the curtain. They told him when to go out. Stopping him.
Yeah,
I was
they
thought
never did this.
No, and it was so cool because it was like, oh my god, they tell them when to go out. I just thought they went out. So get to see. Oh, there's Stu and Helen in the front row. You get to see something a little different.
Very cool. Like, it makes me wonder if I wonder whose call this was, because they're trying things here that are definitely different. Looking at it, like as a kid, like I didn't pick up on all of it. I always thought it was different and unique. And then when you go back and watch these shows, it's something that I don't think they redo it again. Some of these things that they did here, and we'll get to it at the end, but they go to like that photo shoot and things at the end here, and just a lot of different things that they're trying here with this show. That I don't know if they didn't like it or what the deal is, because they didn't really continue on with it until years later. But
I'm not going to give him any credit because I don't know how invested he was into giving his advice, especially to a pay-per-view. But I wonder if any of this was Jerry Jarrett's call, because he came in and we saw how a lot of things changed immediately that were very different. I wouldn't even call them Memphis-y. They were just very different from the norm that we had been accustomed to for years.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of like what I was getting at, because I do know, Jerry's around at the beginning here. So I'm wondering if he had influence on this show, because like I said, a lot of these things don't happen again. That we see here, they don't happen elsewhere. So that's what makes them unique. And it's pretty cool. This is funny. Razor throws a toothpick at the kid who gets the glasses.
And Bret going,
kid no-sells it.
That was great. That's good heel heat right there. The kid no-sells it. That's what ruined it, though. The kid's got to sell it, man. At least yell at him.
Right.
So let's see how Razor does here with the bum knee, because he was not going to miss this WWF title payday at a pay-per-view. Yeah, he was going to work. And I can't say I blame him, especially back in those days, but anytime. Nowadays, I don't know if they'd let you, but it was typically your call back then, I think. And Razor said, wait a minute, I'm wrestling Bret Hart for the WWF title, and I've been here like not even 6 months or whatever, and
7. Yeah, because he's like, it took you 7 years to get the title. It's only going to take me 7 months. So, crazy. Such a he has the perfect look, man, and the perfect character. I know we talk about this on the Monday Warfare show. That he sells the knee too. That's nice.
That's
easy smart. Though.
Yeah. I mean, we had the arm with the Shawn and Marty. We had the back, if you want to call it that, with the Boss Man match. And now Bret going to work the bad leg of Razor, which makes sense. That's what you do when a guy is legitimately injured.
He has that extra knee pad there to protect it. So that's where Bret's going. Very smart.
The only thing I always used to worry about in these cases when they would do that is, but if it's already hurting, why would you sit there and screw around with it, for 10, 15 minutes? Yeah. You're asking for something to happen. But these guys are pros. They know what they're doing. And boy, hasn't Scott Hall come a long way since 1989 NWA. It's like a different human.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know if you see in the background there, they're getting ready for our boy here.
Oh, are
That's
they?
weird.
They're putting up the
curtain's already down.
Okay. I wonder how they snuck him out there. Like, did they put a towel over his head? I mean, just curious. Or did they even give a shit and he just walked out and got behind the curtains? I always wondered how they set up the narcissist segment.
They probably turned the lights out. Did they go to the video package or something right before it happens? Or
Good call. I'm not sure. I mean, that's like, other than the Bam Bam Boss Man segment, that's probably the least watched segment I watch on this pay-per-view when I watch it. So I'm not sure. Bobby just makes me very uncomfortable with his commentary during that segment and stuff, so I kind of avoid it. Not that Lex is a great promo either, especially as the narcissist character.
Yeah, they kind of see it back there, but no. There's some issues with this match though. I don't know if you want to touch on them now or wait a little bit longer so people can have an idea of what we're talking about. But
no, yeah, sure, you can go on.
Scott's not too happy with. I'm sure he doesn't care about the pay, and he's not. To me, he never seems like one to care about how a match goes. But it sounds, from the sounds of it, and you can correct me where I'm wrong, but it sounded like they had something different, and Bret just kind of took over in the ring because he didn't think Scott was ready for this position. And great spot there.
Yeah,
great bump.
That was a good call from those guys. That Irish whip, Bret slides rib cage first into the post on the canvas. You don't see that enough. It's a simple spot that you don't see often, but it's forgotten, and we get these, 900 flippies we get today. That means more to me than 900 flippies.
Yeah, because you're telling me you're showing me what hurts, and then when you spend the rest of the match attacking it, it makes complete sense.
Well,
you got posted.
I can relate to that, Steve. I could imagine that if my rib cage slid into a steel post, that it would hurt. I could see that. Like, I believe that.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I don't believe a guy comes off the top rope and does 3 flips. Why the hell am I still standing there for?
Right. Or why do I have 8 people on the outside waiting for one guy to jump on all of us?
That's
and we
right.
just tumble to the ground like gymnastics. You're not selling. You're not injuring anything. You're looking pretty. You're putting. To me, wrestling's like a beat up station wagon or something. It's not made to look beautiful like that. To me, like, it's rugged and it's a fight. At the end of the day, it's a fight.
Well, it's supposed to resemble a fight. And I'm not against, I exploded when I saw Scorpio debut in WCW with the 450 split. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I never stopped tape in the middle of something in my life. I literally stopped tape during that commercial after that match on that Clash to rewind and see what the hell I just saw. And now you're like, it was a freaking 450. Back then, I'd never seen that before in my life. I wasn't sure how many rotations he made. What the hell was that? That crowd explodes. I'm not saying there isn't a spot for shit like that in wrestling, but it's just done to death today.
But Scorpio, like that's all he did, though. I mean, he did other things that were flashy, like the rotating splash and things like that. But
fall away, nice.
But it wasn't like if that's all he did. The fan checking on his mom.
Well, back then, if that's all he did, nobody would have cooperated with him. They've been told to get lost.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it just makes that move stand out. If you're doing a reverse 450 and it doesn't get the finish, and then all of a sudden you're doing
there's your first problem.
Like,
I mean, not the first problem. That's one of many big problems. Yeah, I agree. So I don't want to take away from this match, but I just love that these simple, basic things. And I'm not sure where this match goes awry, where Bret takes over. I don't know if Scott Hall ever actually pinpointed that or not, obviously. But this many years later, he may not even remember exactly, where things changed up. But he's in control right now, so technically, I mean, it is his call. Bret doesn't really have much say unless he's calling the spots for him, which would kind of be weird considering Hall's the heel. But yeah, I mean, I could see Bret doing that. That's unfortunate. And I could see Bret worrying too. Razor had no background in being able to put together a good match up until this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
He wasn't. I mean, he was working with Macho and Perfect and Flair for a few months there, so he has some experience.
I'm not saying he doesn't have wrestling experience. For anybody, it's like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Scott Hall debuted in 1984 or whatever. Yeah, I'm aware, and he was awful. And then he was in the AWA, and he teamed with Kurt Hennig. You figured he would have picked up something there, but by 1989, the NWA, nope. The guy couldn't talk.
Nothing's changed.
The guy didn't know how to put together a match. It was awful. Yeah. I mean, I remember
he didn't get good until he was with DDP as the Diamond Stud.
I feel like he took this character, which obviously became Scarface, but other than the Scarface voice, the rest of the character was slowly created in Puerto Rico. If you go to the Puerto Rico videos that are out there from 1990, 1991, when he was in Puerto Rico for a lengthy period of time, which is how he met TNT, Savio Vega. So they were friends, but that's when he got that wet-haired look. The look you see minus the razors, is where he developed that in Puerto Rico. And I feel like he was able to get his feet wet and do what he wanted there and learn who he was. And then the Diamond Stud, like you said, in WCW. And it was like, how do you let a guy that looks like that go? But they did. Bill Watts, ladies and gentlemen. And
yeah. I've always said, this may sound weird or creepy or whatever, but if I wanted to be a wrestler, I would, and you got to pick who you looked like, I wouldn't want to be somebody jacked like a British Bulldog or somebody like that, but I would take Scott Hall probably 9 out of 10 times. The 10th time, I don't even know who I would pick. Maybe Mr. Perfect because of his feet. It's just because like they were spring loaded somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had to have been but it'd be fun to run around like that one time. But like to me, Scott Hall is the perfect size. He's not overly muscle, but he looks good. And to me, the gimmick matches the look almost perfectly. It's crazy how. To me though, like he's not Scarface. To me, he's more Manny. He looks more like Manny and acts a little bit more like Manny, but he talks like Tony. So but it's just a perfect combination.
And lucky for him, Vince McMahon had never seen the movie. So Vince's like, how did you come up with these ideas, pal? I can't believe nobody stooged and said, Vince, this is like a movie, right? Like everything he's saying is from a movie. I'm sure Vince, like when he saw these vignettes, like Bruce probably put them together. I don't know if Vince was there or not, but I'm sure when Vince
Vince was there.
Okay. I'm sure he was like, this guy's amazing. How does he come up with this shit? I could just see it, like he's pulling one over on Vince. And by the time Vince, you do realize these razor blades represent cutting up cocaine, right? Oh, really? Oh, too late now.
Oh shit! Scott. I think Scott did say that Vince was there. Like he said, most guys who did vignettes, Vince didn't go to them, but he wanted to go and see mine, and he was on hand for all of them. And I think they showed behind the scenes where I don't know if it was like the market when he's walking down the street or whatever.
Yeah, where like everybody on the street started to assemble behind him because. They didn't know what was going on, and he's like spitting fruit in dude's face, and they're getting ready to form a mob. I always love that vignette.
Yeah. So he said Vince was there for those. He went down to Miami and produced them for him. So Vince loved it. He had to have. But clearly he didn't know what it was from or why we're in Miami or whatever the case may be. But thank God he didn't. Because he would have shot it down immediately.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
Yeah.
You're not a drug dealer. I think this is where the wheels go off. Right there.
Okay. So Bret backdrops Razor to the floor. Razor's, I'm not sure if he's selling or if maybe he's got a little gimpy. Bret with the suicide dive down the aisleway. Bret always did the suicide dive. He didn't do it often at all. I remember that Jean-Pierre Lafitte one really well, but he didn't do it very often, but when he did it, he always made sure to do it into the aisle. He was a smart dude. Like, we're not going to hit the guardrail, and we could take a full bump. Nobody else, like, why didn't everybody do it that way?
I don't know. Bret just thinks of everything.
I gotta say, I mean, point, he believes it a little too much. We've talked about that quite a bit. On the especially on Monday Warfare show. But yes. I will credit him that he is right about one thing. He made everything look real, and that was very important. And I don't just mean, that punch looked real. I mean, everything made sense. I'm doing this. Well, yeah, that's what I would do. It makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what take all the background noise out of it. That's what I think appealed me to him. Is what you see is what you get. It's authentic as it can be, and he's never shied away from who he is. This is who he is. You either like me or you hate me. There's really no middle ground with Bret Hart. I mean, it's you either like him or you don't. That's just the way it is. But I don't care what anybody says. I can watch Bret Hart all day and see something new every single time I watch him wrestle. He's that good. He really is. It's so simple but so effective, and you believe every bit of it because it's authentic. I really feel that. So
5 moves of doom time looks like maybe here.
Yeah, but I remember watching this, and I'm like, Razor had control there for a little bit. It was like maybe 3 or 4 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And the rest of the match seems like Bret Hart just dominates it. And one time when I was watching this,
I don't watch this match enough to really pay attention, so I'm doing that this time. And I was like, is this the comeback? Because Razor barely had any heat on Bret. I mean, like you said, what, 3-4 minutes?
Yeah. And it just hit me one day. I was like, I was actually paying attention to it probably for the first time since 93. Because a lot of time when I watch wrestling, I just listen to it because I've seen it so much. I like the commentary.
Right.
And things like that. You don't have to actually sit here and watch this stuff. But I was watching it thoroughly, like just, trying to learn something. And I'm like, man, Razor had that small time frame. And then it was just Bret, like all the way through for like the last 5-10 minutes. Like the comeback was like 10 minutes long, it felt like. And
it sure seems like
Razor
that. He's not just doing the 5 moves of doom. He's doing the 10 moves of doom. He's pulling out the ones he only does sometimes. He's hitting Razor with everything. And now he's going, it looks like he's softening him up here for the sharpshooter. Razor makes it to the ropes. And Razor's a deceptively tall guy, so he's some long ligaments to get to those ropes.
Good 6'5"?
Yeah, at least I'd say 6'5", 6'6", I'd say, yeah. Bret trying to turn it over.
It's kind of like Jake Roberts in the sense that...
very smart. Razor grabs hold of Hebner. And
Hebner gets heated.
Earl falls on top of Bret, and then the hold is broken. But Bret, pretty smart, doesn't even question Earl, just goes right back to the match. Which you don't see usually. Usually the wrestler always yells at the ref, even if it's for 2 seconds.
Yeah. And like right here, I'm expecting Razor to kind of take back over. And he gets a few punches in here on the ribs that, Bret hurt earlier, so he's selling it. You're thinking, oh, he's just getting clubbed in the ribs, but those are the ribs that ate the post.
Yeah, and I've never been a fan of the finish of this match. So it just kind of came out of nowhere. And again, I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't really necessarily care how they went into the finish. I just wasn't a fan of how abrupt it was and how quickly Razor submits. It's like almost immediate.
Right there.
Yeah, it was a nice back roll by Bret. And like you said, right back on top is the Hitman, the champ.
Yeah.
At least the champ for a couple more months anyway.
He has something to say about everything. So
before Hulk Hogan comes back and I have an idea, brother.
Oh, jeez.
Can't get away from him on any show we do. He's always got ideas. They always involve him winning.
Yeah. It almost makes sense, though. We'll talk about that at WrestleMania 9, right? I'm not going to talk about it now. But
Razor calling for the edge here.
But see, he did those clubs and he's going to do his back. I wonder if he could do it. I wonder if how bad his knee was there.
He's done enough here that I wouldn't think it would be that. Oh, you mean the back suplex? I gotcha.
Off the middle rope, like
yeah, I wouldn't risk it.
Fragile there on the middle rope. Yeah, I think that's why they did that spot there. But that was a nice reversal there.
Yeah, Bret escapes into the backslide. That was a nice spot. Like, I'd almost rather that have been the finish than Razor submitting to the sharpshooter. That was Bret's idea. Oh, no, you got to submit to my sharpshooter.
Because this is a one-off. I don't think they had any intention of extending this.
No, but he didn't necessarily need to beat him by submission. Back then, when you got beat by submission, it
felt bigger.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like that as a finish, but I would have rather seen Razor beat the crap out of him first. And again, he's not really getting enough offense in that any finish is very good.
Yeah, it's just like one or two moves and then boom, Bret's right back on top. I noticed this like second or third time ago that I watched this. So this is weird because you expect, Bret's doing his comeback and then stall. But Razor really never.
You know why that is, right? That Bret keeps coming back because he has heart. It's Bret Hart, damn it.
Right.
And Razor's just a lousy hyena. You lousy hyena, Razor Ramon. You're not the bottom of the barrel. You're under the bottom of the barrel. And that is classic Bret Hart promos.
Yes. See there?
Yeah.
Very cool spot here. I love it. Bret's just
Hebner didn't even know. Yeah, Hebner didn't. He was like, what the hell are they doing? Oh, it's a pinfall. I got to count that. And here we go. This, I'm not really.
Have you ever seen that spot again?
No, and I'm glad I haven't. Oh, you mean the pinfall?
The pin.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like yeah. All those guys did that all the time. That was like a Eddie Dean, Benoit type thing all the time when they were going back and forth. Razor submits almost immediately. I wasn't a fan of how they went into the
sharpshooter.
Yeah. Because of the way he put it on.
Yeah, to defend it, I will say, like, Bret kept reversing and Razor kept reversing, and then Razor kind of took his eye off the ball there for a second and got caught. I think that's what they were going for. I didn't like the execution of it, but I could see what they're doing. And it kind of goes back, like, he jobbed out, like, he tapped real quick, but I also think they did it in a way that, okay, he just got caught. Bret didn't get him in that position. He just kind of ended up in that position, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that match went damn near 18 minutes, and it didn't feel like 18 minutes. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah,
for what it was, I thought it was okay. I would have liked to have seen Razor, have more control now that I'm actually paying attention, but
it just kind of threw me off because, you have this idea of what's going to happen, and when the face gets the comeback, it's over, if that's where they're going. But it never really, Bret never really took off, but Razor never really regained control. So it was definitely awkward and different. But Razor held his own. I thought he did an excellent job for the position that he was put in. People say he may not have been ready. Whatever. He delivered. I thought he did good.
Yeah, I think he was, forced into that position. I felt bad for him because he hadn't been there long enough to establish himself enough to where he could have been more credible. They could have done more with him. I felt like, we talked about this already. There was nobody. Bobby's heading out. But I feel like they just had nobody there. And it's like, all right, well, he's doing Yoko at WrestleMania, so Razor. That's basically it. That's all they had at this point. So Bret had to wrestle somebody, and unfortunately Razor's the casualty. I would have liked to have seen him survive longer without that kind of defeat. But it is what it is, and that's where we are. And we'll pick up Bobby Heenan here for a minute, and he's going to unveil the Narcissist.
The moment the world's been waiting for. For the last 4 weeks, I've been talking about this man, Narcissus, the greatest specimen walking on earth. Words cannot describe how this man looks. Right now, it is my pleasure. It's an honor to introduce and to unveil Narcissus Lex Luger!
So there he is. Narcissus was going to be a man who loves himself, and if I had just taken 3 seconds, even back then, to think about it, I probably could have came up with it being Lex Luger. Of course, I had all these other names and ideas floating around in my head, but no, it's Lex Luger. And I'm sure you're happy to see this, Steve, Lex Luger in your life.
Back then, no. I had no clue. I had an idea who Lex Luger was and what he was all about, but I wasn't a huge fan as a kid. I didn't mind the Narcissist gimmick. I thought it was it fit perfect for him, obviously.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they say the best way to get over is to be yourself, and for some reason, this still just never really clicked. But here he is. Lex Luger has arrived in the WWF. For those who don't know, he was under contract with WCW, finished up with Sting, dropped the belt to Sting in February of 92, Super Brawl. He wasn't allowed to wrestle or sign with a wrestling company, so Vince outsmarted WCW. He signed Luger to a bodybuilding contract in the WBF in 92.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Luger was going to be the big thing there, but then he had the motorcycle accident. Yeah. And we'll learn a lot more about that motorcycle accident in the episodes to come. But here he is, yes. Luger just looking at himself, just enjoying the Lex Luger.
Do you think he was standing? Because that's like a rolling platform. Do you think he was on that platform when they rolled it out with the curtain down?
If there was lights in there for him to look at himself, it's possible. Otherwise, I'm thinking he just kind of.
Hey Lex, we got an idea for you. We're gonna roll you out during the Bret match. You're gonna have to stand out there for about 25 minutes, looking at yourself in 3 mirrors.
Only 25 minutes? You sure you don't want to roll me out there during the Boss Man match?
Yeah, that's probably what he said.
Oh, Lex,
this
love you though.
Is yeah. This segment's uncomfortable. It seems like those 3 ladies were there just to see this guy. It's like they knew, and they just came to give front row to see Lex Luger.
I think Bobby's gonna.
They don't look.
Oh, Lex gonna another pose. There you go.
They don't look like wrestling fans.
I don't know if we'll listen to. No, they don't. And I don't know if we're gonna listen to Luger's entire promo. But when he does start talking, I'll pick up a little bit of it. But it's there he is, Lex Luger. I'm like, oh, cool, Lex Luger's in the WWF. And it's funny, it seemed like Vince wasn't going to give him a name at first. He was just going to be Narcissus. If you watch the first 3 vignettes, Bobby calls him Narcissus. If you watch the last vignette prior to the Royal Rumble, Bobby calls him the Narcissist. And Bobby actually just introduced him as Narcissus Lex Luger here. But I think that was a slip of the tongue. So I think maybe at first Vince wasn't going to call him Lex Luger.
Well, they have Lex Luger on the graphic up there.
Right. No, I meant when in the inception of the idea.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, initially, yeah, probably not. But.
So, well, I guess we'll pick up Bobby here and see what Lex has to say, at least for a little bit.
Because he's anything but perfect. You know, Bobby Heenan, I truly am incredible. This is history in the making. I will be, mark my words beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most dominant force that the WWF has ever seen. All other wrestlers will bow down on their knees before me because I am the most mesomorphically magnificent physical specimen beyond perfection. And speaking, Bobby, of perfection, I know you're impressed. I know everybody out here is impressed with me, Lex Luger. But I know somebody else who's back there watching who I know is impressed. But the most impressive thing of all is when I step in the ring. And Mr. Perfect, that's when you will find how truly great the narcissist Lex Luger is. If you've got the guts to take the challenge. Ladies and
So there it is. Lex Luger comes right onto the scene and immediately challenges Mr. Perfect. Of course, Flair's gone. And then, boy, I'm telling you, how lucky is Luger that Bobby Heenan was just standing there. Just happened to be in the company at the time. They needed somebody to build him up and get him over without Luger actually showing off who he was. And Bobby Heenan's right there. So here we go.
Yeah, he definitely got lucky here.
Oh, not this part. Oh my God. Show me a little more leg. This is the most uncomfortable part. Bobby down on his knees, trying to raise the curtains to beg Lex to show him a little more leg. As a kid and as an adult, I just, I'm not a homophobe whatsoever, but it's just creepy, period.
Yeah, it definitely is. That curtain was all the way around, so he had to have been rolled out there and just staring at himself. Oh, Lord.
So I think it's at this point in the show, this is the final pay-per-view, not just of Bobby and Gorilla together, but this is the final pay-per-view that features a 5-minute intermission for those at home. And
is it? I don't remember that.
Absolutely. And that's it.
I didn't take that part.
Here we got Julius Caesar and Cleopatra in the ring, and I didn't understand this as a young teen. I was like, well, I don't understand. What the fuck is this? Caesar's Palace. Oh, okay, I get it, I guess. But this was awful. It was received awful by the fans in attendance here. It was a waste of time and garbage. So I think this is the perfect time for me to play another audio clip real quick, Steve, of the real wrestler that I think is going to win the 1993 Royal Rumble.
Fight! Who wants to fight? You talking about you 29 brothers want to fight? Well, come on, superstars in the Royal Rumble. You want to fight? I've been fighting all my life. I'm going to beat you down because I want to be in WrestleMania 9 against the champion. So watch out, audience. I'm going to knock out 29 of you, one at a time. So come on and meet me.
Any guesses?
Fight, huh?
Virgil. I'm doubling down. Yeah, I'm doubling down on Verge. So
Cleopatra has a nice rack, though. I'll say that.
Oh, okay. All right. I think doesn't she change between now and WrestleMania? Isn't there a different Cleopatra? I feel like something.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check when we get there. For some reason, I thought there was.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know what the hell was going on either. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
but it makes sense when you get to Mania with what they were trying to portray. I don't know why you wouldn't do the Roman theme for the Rumble too, if that's what you was gonna do. But whatever.
Also, the first Royal Rumble without all of the insert promos from a lot of the guys that are going to be part of the match, declaring why they're going to win the Royal Rumble.
Hey, we get them back next year, though.
We do, but it's never the same. But you're right; it's so odd.
Never the same.
This is so different. We don't get the guys at the beginning, the Vince announcing all the names. We don't get the promos in the middle, even a few like the main guys. We don't get anything. It's just we get
the Bret
this
interview,
and then we do get that. We get this nonsense shit here, though. This replaces the insert promos of the Rumble guys. Julius Caesar decreeing that WrestleMania will take place at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. That's what we get. And then we go straight to the Fink, who doesn't even explain the Royal Rumble rules this year, if I remember correctly.
You can do that in his sleep.
So, but in case you guys don't know, it is now time for the Royal Rumble. If this guy ever shuts up, we'll get to the match. 30 guys, and certainly a tale of two halves here. And usually it's like the first half's pretty good, okay. The second half's better, the more the stars. This is kind of ass backwards. This is like a really hot first half, and then the second half, it's a little rough at times.
It's like Jerry Jarrett blew his load at the very beginning and didn't know what to do afterwards.
All right, after Undertaker, what are we doing, Jerry? Well, you guys need me to book the whole match? No, I'll book the rest of it. I got some great ideas, pal. Who's left? All right, let's get these two out of the friggin' ring.
Did I do it?
Did I do it? I told you I'd do it. All right, will you shut up? Here we go. Let's listen.
Gorilla's like ignoring him.
That's the way they will enter the ring. We will start off with 1 and 2 in the ring to kick things off, and every 2 minutes, another one.
Did I unveil him? Was that something?
You did unveil him.
Yes!
As I say, you probably didn't hear me, but you were down there. You won't have any trouble finding Mr. Perfect. The elimination is over the top rope and down to the arena floor. Once a person does that.
So it's Gorilla explaining the rules, at least to us at home. The fans there, they're there. I guess they should know what the hell they're watching. But, yeah, so Gorilla explains the rules to us.
I did it.
I did it. And it's time. We're already here at the main event, the Royal Rumble, for the next hour. Hour 6 minutes and 35 seconds to be exact. This Royal Rumble lasts. Might be the longest one up until this point. And here comes number 1. He was number 3 last year, and he won it all. This year he's number 1. It's the Nature Boy Ric Flair on his way out. And immediately I thought, well, he's going another hour.
Oh, you thought that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't think he was going to win, but I certainly thought it was Ric Flair. No problem at all doing another hour or certainly a very long time in this match. It's Ric Flair. I mean, when you look on paper at the names involved here, he should absolutely be in the the final 5 or whatever. But obviously they had other plans.
Was you wrong.
Yeah, and for obvious reasons they had other plans, and Flair was on his way out the door, which we covered actually in the last episode. Oh yeah, I mean it was a good little story they did. We talked about the Hennig and Flair loser leaves town match at the end of last episode. And number 2 is Bob Backlund, which just seems so odd, running out with no music and acting like a complete dork here. And this won't be the last time in the match that he looks like a complete dork.
These guys should have. I was like, who the?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, man, you're good.
No, I was just like, who the hell? What are we doing? Bob Backlund? And then by the end of it, I'm like, man, Bob Backlund's awesome. These
two should have color coordinated before the match. They should have talked to each other. You start off the match with 2 guys in red trunks and red knee pads. Ric Flair even with the red boots. And Bob already doing Bob Backlund-y things. And this is the babyface Bob Backlund, mind you. He's only been back with the company like 2 months.
I think by the end of the match, or by the time Bob Backlund gets eliminated, Heenan has a joke like, look, he's wrestled half his boots off or something like that.
Yeah, he's got those old amateur boots on and doing the old trip sidestep, one of Backlund's favorites.
Yeah, this is Backlund's whole repertoire.
I really wonder what Rick was thinking right here. Like, what the fuck am I doing? What the hell's going on right now?
This is the champ in '83.
For damn near 6 years.
No selling it. He doesn't know how to sell that. He's like, what is that? We didn't do that. What did you just do to me?
But Flair just called a spot. He said reverse backdrop. Well, didn't see that coming from Ric Flair taking the backdrop. He's already got his spot in. Oh, Backlund with his old finisher. That running atomic drop.
What a shit finish.
Hey, man. 'Twas the times. Oh, I was wondering if he was going to do that or not. Flair's
probably seeing
the
back
Flair
and
flop.
Like, this dude's bouncing back and forth like this. What the hell's going on?
Here we go. Well, you can't get more opposite than Bob Backlund and Ric Flair, 2 different eras colliding here. How can you make this even weirder? Why, you add a little black magic. Papa Shango to the ring with Ric Flair and Bob Backlund. This just smells of Memphis.
Papa Shango.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. And I didn't learn that until many years later.
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
Look at him.
Well, we were so confused. When we were kids, why the hell did Papa Shango? Well, I hate to spoil it, but he's not going to last here very long. He's not long for this match, Phil. To our listeners out there, Shango's gone before number 4 comes in, and we never understood it for years, maybe decades. What the hell? Either. What the hell happened? It's because Shango had separated his shoulder several weeks before this. He really wasn't even cleared to wrestle, but since it was a pay-per-view, he got the payday and simply came in and went out, and that's basically why, because we could never understand why Bob Backlund's still in this match, but Papa Shango went out.
Yeah. I never realized it because I knew that was the case, but if you've seen him there, he wasn't even using that arm. Like when he rolled in the ring, he held that arm out to where it wasn't getting hit by anything, and he picked up Backlund with the other arm by itself. So clearly, he had no business being in the ring. And if it was 2021, he's not getting cleared. He's going to miss out on the payday. So,
and we're back to
it's just one of those things.
Flair and Backlund. So hopefully somebody will come out and save us here. 2 minutes can't go by fast enough for me right now. And I hate to crap on Bob. I mean, they tell a good story with him here by the end of the match, like you said. But right now, I mean, it's pretty awkward. He just clashes with everyone. I don't know that he clashes with anybody more than Razor at WrestleMania. But this is Ric Flair. Flair's about as close as you're going to get to a wrestler on the roster, and Bob still just looks out of place. Time stood still for Bob. I mean, like you said, he was champion through '83, but Bob still wrestles like he's in the '70s.
Jeez.
Ted DiBiase on his way out, the $1 Million Man. So we have a former 6-year WWF champion, Bob Backlund. We have a former, what was he, at least 7 times? No, if you count in WWF at this point, 9-time world champion in Ric Flair. And Ted DiBiase was actually being talked about as being one of the NWA world champions there in the early 80s as well. So, and rightfully so at the time. Papa Shango, not so much. Yeah, then he came to the WWF and they gave him $1 million title to compensate.
And he's all for it. He's
Hell
still
yeah.
living the gimmick.
Yeah, he's paying back the gimmick now.
Oh, man. Got to meet him over the summer. It was pretty cool. So, pretty nice guy.
Did you make him do the laugh for you? That's the big question.
No, I didn't. He was tired because I think he got in at like 3 a.m. It was SummerSlam weekend, so he was out in Vegas doing stuff for NXT, and then flew to Tennessee, and then he flew to Orlando like right after the signing was over. So he was a trooper, and he wasn't negative or anything like that. Right. He was perfectly nice, and,
right. Well, that's good to hear.
Very, very friendly and talkative and everything, but no, he was,
what a terrible bump.
He was on the plane. Yeah,
Backlund's awful.
He's a little jet lag.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I can't wait for this next guy to come out here and save the match for about 30 seconds.
They were over though.
Oh yeah,
at this point because of what happened with Jimmy Hart. So
right.
They were pretty over.
And we are talking about Brian Knobbs of the Nasty Boys, and he does get quite a response here. It's one of the louder pops from the crowd, but he works this good. Obviously, he's in there with 2 of the best of all times, DiBiase and Flair, and they sell for him. And here we go. He's going to come here with the clotheslines and off to the races. Great bumps by both guys here. Knobbs comes in on fire.
It's crazy. Like Ted, at 90, he was in there for what, like 37 minutes?
It was a long time.
I don't even think he was in there in 91. I don't think he was in 91.
No, he worked Dusty tag team match.
Yeah. And then 92, he was in and out with Bulldog. And then here, Ted wasn't ready for that one.
Ted was getting up, and Knobbs was determined to hit an elbow drop. I've never seen that before. He elbow drops Ted as he's on his knees. Oh, poor DiBiase.
And then Ted's gone here rather quickly, too. So,
yeah, that 92 one always puzzled me. I didn't know if he was injured or what the deal was. He was in there for such a short period of time. Bulldog eliminates him at the beginning of the match.
Sherri's more memorable for that than
God.
Ted.
Yeah, I'll always remember that.
Wow, would you look at them? Bobby, classic.
So look at those 2.
Yeah, that's the cover of GQ magazine or whatever he said. But no, it's very weird. Like Ted was, he was the gimmick for the first, like 89 and 90. Like he paid off those guys to get 30, and then 90 he was forced to be number 1 pretty much.
Right.
For his Dirty D's he did in 89. So
Knobbs calling for the, oh my God, DiBiase's actually taking it. I bet Knobbs put on deodorant for this one.
Better of.
I don't think Ted's playing that game, so.
No, definitely not.
Who's it going to be? It's my man. It's Virgil, or as Gorilla calls him, Verge. I'm telling you right here. So we got Knobbs, who's in a feud with DiBiase, and we have Virgil, who's always in a feud with DiBiase. There's DiBiase calling the spot. He's got to call the spot. Virgil gets in the ring, and he's already getting spots called for him.
And doesn't the guys that come out have the spots told to them ahead of time? Like, hey, go after this guy.
Well, they might plan a thing or two, but yeah, I mean, most of it's just ad-lib because you're just mostly punching and kicking. You'll notice back then, everybody didn't come in and hit their finisher like it is now.
Yeah. Or at least like in, I think it was 07 or 08. They had they did stuff, but it was when the last 2 were there. So they try to tell a story then instead of the entire match.
Right.
I hate like the casino battle royal where they come in 4 people deep and they all come in and do
very confusing.
20 spots in 90 seconds, and then here comes the next 4 and they come in and do 20 spots in 90 seconds.
Wow,
it's like
we already lost another guy. Knobs is gone. Dibiase drops down, and that's okay. Virgil's still here. There's my pick.
Backlund not even trying to get Flair out of the ring, just holding his foot in the air. Does Backlund even understand the concept of this
I don't know. Bob's ever been in a battle royal. Why would I want to do that? You do what? Oh, that's a heel move. I don't do that.
Can't dump anybody over the top rope. That's mean.
You could maim a guy doing that. Flair nailing Bob Backlund. Dibiase and Virgil in the other corner.
I wonder if they told Flair, you're going to work Backlund the first 8 minutes of this match because you're going to be the only one that can make him look good.
He's having a rough time at it. I'm telling you that. He's trying
totally
his
whipped
damnedest.
on that chop.
Yeah, he tried to chop Bob, and Backlund ducked down. Flair misses. Oh, my God.
Bob's having too much fun selling being on the middle rope, acting like he's going to lose his balance and fall out.
Bob's trying to tell his own story. Here we go. Jerry Lawler's first time we see him in a WWF ring. And one of the weirdest
shit all over the
singlets I've ever seen. Go ahead, man.
I think it's pretty cool. I think he's trying to get himself ready for that WWF show here. I got to look gaudy.
Early 90s.
Did he wear any of that stuff before?
I was going to say early 90s in Memphis, there was a lot of airbrushing shit going on. So I could see him wearing this prior to this show.
Did he do it himself?
No, I doubt it. I don't know, but I doubt it.
I know he's a hell of an artist.
It's great to see Lawler and Flair go at it, even if it's just for a minute, though. Just one of those matches that you really didn't get. You got it that one time on Memphis TV, and then they never even took it to the Coliseum, so never really got to see a Flair and Lawler feud play out.
That would have been interesting. Very good.
It would have been great. Certainly back in that era. Oh yeah.
Man, money. But no, like there's a few things here with this. So we'll touch on the Hidden Treasures show. They acting like he brought out that blue cape at King of the Ring,
right?
But clearly he wore it here, so it wasn't the King of the Ring. That was
wasn't it the entire gimmick though? Like the entire thing they were trying to say he debuted at King of the Ring, and he doesn't even wear some of it here, right? Like it wasn't like.
Well, the crown's gone because didn't they take shits in his crown?
Right. That's why Lawler comes out he's not wearing the crown, is because Kurt Hennig and a few others who had worked the Memphis territory and been stiffed in the past decided to get a little revenge here at the Royal Rumble and fill the king's crown with shit.
Great.
So welcome to the WWF, Jerry Lawler. Oh, boy. Max Moon, Paul Diamond, the man of 9 lives. And I'll explain that because Diamond was fired back in December for sleeping with Tatanka's wife, of all things. And here he is back replacing...
Of all things.
Of all things. It's so odd. It's random. Like, you don't see... Who else ever got fired for that reason? I just don't know. But here he is back. He gets the job back because Steve Armstrong quits as Lance Cassidy. And they need filler. So, like, Paul Diamond, come do Steve Armstrong's tour dates in January. And so here we go again. And this isn't the last time Max Moon gets saved and comes back for another couple weeks. He'll be back in February again for a couple weeks on a European tour. But we'll talk about that on the next episode of The Grenade. But yeah, here we go. Max Moon made it. The character made it to a pay-per-view. He's going to skin the cat.
Yes. He does a tremendous leg whip kick thing in the corner coming up here. I love it.
Oh, I always loved whenever Quang would do that. And,
it's a great spot. It looks very cool when you hit it in the corner like that.
It would only take something like that for me to not necessarily like a guy, because I never really cared for the Max Moon character, but like at least enjoy them. And that was it. Like his spin kick in the corner, I was like, oh, that looked cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it's such a cool spot because the person taking it is supported by the turnbuckle, so they're not just going to fall down and make it look weak. You can actually see the leg whip around their head a little bit to where it looks a lot more violent than a normal spin kick. So.
Yeah, and that spot will be coming up because it's also his demise here in this match. The same exact maneuver.
Yeah. Do you think Conan as Max Moon would have done better? Like,
I don't think anybody as Max Moon.
Here we go.
Here we go. Boom. There's the kick you were talking about. Real nice. And he's going to go for it again here. And Lawler, too smart that time. And Max Moon is a goner.
And you can tell, we'll talk about it when it comes up here, because it's getting close, but we'll just wait.
Tenryu in here now, for those who don't know. Tenryu, a legend in Japan. My God, his best years were behind him here, but he was still a hell of a worker even here in 1993. Of course, he translates very poorly in the WWF ring, but here's Flair. Oh, man. Those are some nasty chops. Flair thought he could give chops. Well, Tenryu knows how to give them right back. Those things have a thud. He was quite the worker, though, for those who don't realize it. Tenryu just didn't really translate to the American audience very well. Broke away from All Japan, New Japan, ran SWS, worked with War.
Yeah. He had that relationship with Vince, and they had a few shows over there.
Quite a few,
91,
actually.
92.
Yeah.
He had matches with Hogan, tag matches against him, and Hogan busts out like the leg whip with or the arm bar where he crosses over and falls down, make it look like he's a good wrestler.
Hey, brother, I remember seeing this one time.
I know how to do this. Yeah.
Back on my New Japan tours, dude.
Oh, man. That's how you piss off a New Japan fan. Tell him Hulk Hogan was the first IWGP champion. Back when it was like a tournament, I think it was.
It was so odd, if you didn't know Tenryu ran a company in Japan, it was so odd when he came in with Katao, who was going to be like his big guy he was going to push in his SWS company. If you didn't know the WWF was going over there and doing shows with Tenryu, it was so confusing at the time. Who is this guy and why is he here? And then they're just gone again.
Why is he on WrestleMania?
Yeah, and Tenryu would just randomly appear on these Royal Rumbles and things moving forward. And then, it was, man.
Oh, here we go.
This is probably the pop of the match.
This is picking up. Oh, yeah,
here we go. I don't even have to tell you the story here. Hennig right after Flair. Let's listen for a minute.
This is so good.
Come on, Rick! Oh, he did it right after Ric Flair! What a vendetta here! Get out, going to the bottom rope! Get out, take a walk, yes!
Oh, come on, Rick. You know better than to go to the top rope, especially in the Royal Rumble. Oh, no. He had to get his spots in.
Look at Tenryu.
Boom.
I know there's a lot of great action going on, but Tenryu's just standing in the corner like, I'm not supposed to get in on this.
Yeah, I know. You can tell everybody knows to just find a corner and stay out of the way of this. Yep. Tenryu's wanting to get involved so bad, he's like, I can't.
Everybody's paired off, so it's like he's by himself, and damn it, I'm stuck in this corner. They're about to do two spots that I can't get. I can't go around.
Flair going to try to light up Hennig here. I'm going to try to pick up another soundbite from the audience here in a few seconds. Oh, perfect. Pulling a Lawler, dropping the strap. So not only does he shit in his crown, but he drops the strap on the same pay-per-view. Love it.
Oh, man. Too bad we didn't get that feud.
Wow, talk about odd pairings. Tenryu and Lawler over in the corner.
They're polar opposites.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Eat that.
Yeah. That looked like a legit bump by Lawler there after Tenryu's chop. Like, I ain't taking another one of those.
No, I'm done. Somebody trade. Thank you, Virgil.
Here we go. Perfect was number 10, so here comes number 11 to the ring here in 3, 2, 1. And it's... Holy shit, it's Shawn Michaels. Oh, no, that's Skinner. Sorry. And Skinner on his way to the ring. I was joking. Shawn Michaels looked like Skinner in recent years till he shaved his head. It was a joke, people.
He needs to shave it again. My goodness. He looks like the dude from GTA 5.
Let's pick up a little more audio here between Hennig and Flair.
Out of town on the home. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at Flair! Flair is out of there! No!
Pushed him out, as Roddy would say, by his beak. Eliminates Flair by the face.
Pie face, dude.
Yeah, pie face to elimination. Flair's gone, and it kind of came out of nowhere. The crowd was expecting it, but once it's obvious that he's going out, that crowd goes nuts. And Ric Flair's gone. It's He drew number 1, and he's out by 11.
This is what I was going to talk about. Looks like Lawler's really laying these in, because Lawler doesn't. When he throws punches, they're very light.
Yeah,
those look a little different. When he gets with Hennig, they look a little different.
Virgil paying back Lawler for the Soul Train Jones era in the Memphis territory, I think. And Skinner, he should have nothing but love for Lawler. I mean, the Fabulous Ones were one of the top draws of all. God, if all these guys have been through Memphis. Well, maybe Tenryu. Well, Bob Backlund.
That's probably why they're all in there. That's probably why they're all in there. Jerry's booking this. I get my Memphis boys in there. He just kicked Virgil in the back of the head. Say, oh, wait, he's a face. I can't beat him up.
Well, for those who don't know, Hennig dropped the AWA World title to Lawler right before he came to the WWF, shortly before. Because Hennig still did Memphis TV after that. He came in and destroyed the set. And that was the last time you saw him. So he got to destroy the Memphis set and then head over to the WWF. So
here comes Coco, another Memphis guy. You're right, man.
Got that right.
I think
I didn't even realize this.
I didn't either. I've never realized it until now. But
do you think Jerry Jarrett booked this? Yeah.
Had to have. You're probably right. All right. I got to do the whole match? No, I got it from here, pal. Because all the WWF guys come out later. Yeah.
Bob Backlund selling for Skinner. Coco and Lawler going at it. I've seen that before. A time or 10.
That's what I say when people shit on Coco being in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying he deserves it, but
by WWF standards, I could see the argument. No. But by wrestling standards, he certainly. I mean, I still don't know if you're really going to have a Hall of Fame. Maybe he doesn't deserve to be in that. But if you put together his whole body of work based on some of the criteria some of these other guys are in there for, then yeah, I mean he's done enough. And Skinner gonna Skinner the cat. Show off a little Fabulous One's work here. Do a little dance usually after that as a fab, but he's not a fab here. He's gone. That's what he is. Hennig eliminates another one.
That dude is hilarious. Man,
he
was
Steve
doing
Kern?
a virtual signing about a year ago, and I was dying laughing. Like, he does not give it. It's not like he just like totally
Backlund does a roll.
Doesn't care about anything.
Right.
He's like, I'm dying. I'm dying tomorrow, so you better buy my autograph or something like that. Like that's how he was. Like he doesn't care. He has no care in the world. I was not expecting, because you see the Skinner gimmick and you think of a serious person. I haven't seen enough of the Fabulous Ones or any of his other work, but all I know is really Skinner, which is probably sad to say, but I was not expecting that from him. But man, I was dying. I can't remember who he was with, but that person, he couldn't get. I think he's with Haku. It was Haku and Steve Kern together signing autographs at the same time, and
awesome.
Haku was just dying laughing. Like Haku is.
Well, you want to be on Haku's good side. You want to be on Haku's good side. And speaking of Polynesians, Samu now in the ring. So what are we on? 11, 12, 13? No, unlucky number 13. Samu.
Good old Samu. Seen him recently too.
I saw him just headbutt Hennig. I was hoping for Enziguri. That's one of Tenryu's big finishers there. And Hennig
he does the power bomb too, right?
Oh yeah.
I love his power bomb.
Lawler coming off the middle rope with that fist too. Everybody's laying it in on Mr. P.
Perfect's giving it back.
Yeah, he's like, I've been here longer.
Have, like, legit heat? Like, I know he's shit in his crown for whatever
I think
reason.
It's wrestling heat. I don't think it's legit heat. I don't know that Hennig probably.
Was it just a rib?
Yeah, I think it was a rib, but it was like a payback rib, kind of at the same time. It's like, you deserve it, but I don't hate you. But guys were just doing that shit for the hell of it back then. Especially Mr. Perfect.
Else to do.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not really my cup of tea, but I'd come up with something more.
You're on the road 20 days out of the year, whatever it was. What else are you going to do?
I'd come up with something more constructive than going around shitting in people's belongings, but I mean.
Or jizzing in the slop bucket for Sonny.
And this ring's starting to build up a little bit.
Yeah. I forgot Dibiase was in this long. I retract my statement. He takes a great bump when he gets eliminated.
He does. I don't know if he intentionally meant to take that bump, but he does take a nice bump. And the Berzerker, I think this might be the Berzerker's last night in the company.
Here's my guy. John Nord's awesome.
John Nord is there's another guy who really doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks.
He does not give
he didn't give
a shit when he was making money.
That's what I mean.
You really think he gives a shit now?
No.
Oh, man. I will say some of these like eliminations are different. They definitely did some different things here. Like the pie face elimination. It's nothing special, but usually it's a clothesline or punch or a back
drop down.
He just
drop down. Pull the rope down. Kind of. Yeah. There's a backdrop. Lawler's gone. That was a nice bump by the King, and the King is gone. And this one really,
this is cool.
I love it, but at the same time, I was like blown away that it happened. Yeah, I was like, what, this? And it confused me. Here we go. See DiBiase, even Coco getting in on trying to eliminate Mr. Perfect here. Lawler on the outside pulling him out. This is
so
great.
Far off the apron.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Hitting is like basically, he's like hanging in the air here. Danny Davis.
Why is the ref like pulling on him?
I think he's trying to help him.
Bill Alfonso's pulling his hair. Oh, Lawler's pulling his hair. Oh, and then a kick to the head.
And Perfect is eliminated. Lawler helped from the outside, and these two fight their way up the aisle. And it was so weird because we saw Lex Luger. No, it doesn't. That's what confused me. Other than they do have one match in the Mid-South Coliseum right after this for Lawler's unified belt, but only in Memphis does anybody know that. But
that, and then too, how many Memphis people were paying for the Royal Rumble? I'm not knocking Memphis. I'm just wondering,
I get you.
Memphis territory is very unique,
yeah,
to say the least. So
here we go. I always love this.
From Memphis to WWF.
This entrance is great here. Watch this, Lawler. Watch Lawler. Screw you, and then he just walks right into the Undertaker. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. I always get a kick out of that. Lawler looking at the crowd. Screw you, and Undertaker's coming out and he backs off. There's Hennig trying to hide behind.
I know who's coming.
Yeah, he's hiding behind the WWF sign. He doesn't want to upstage the Undertaker, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, respect there. And the wheels fall off. Here we go.
Well, they're going to fall off because we're about to clear the ring. We build it up, and they're Backlund. He's not allowed to be eliminated yet. So if you notice, he went through the ropes to the floor, and now the Berzerker going to lay Backlund out. He's going to hit him with a chair, and there we go. And I think he pulls up the mat and slams Backlund on it, and then we don't see Bob for several minutes.
Yeah, that's definitely a Memphis thing too.
Oh man, Samu with that nasty choke slam bump. I think the back of his knees. We missed the Coco missile drop kick.
Coco. Man, that's the best move he has.
I feel like Tenryu's the next one out here.
He's chopping the shit out of him too. There's the Enziguri.
Yeah, here he comes. Taker gonna dip that shoulder and boom. Tenryu is gone. Back to Japan. Oh, actually, I think he does the TV tapings. Although they only air internationally, but
I like Tenryu though. Good dude.
Yeah. Solid for sure. I mean, his stuff in Japan was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's a given.
Backlund trying to get up, but he can't make it. Berzerker.
I'm glad he's not fixing his knee pads. I'm glad he's not fixing the knee pads.
Is Coco gonna eliminate the Berzerker? My God.
Pulled up his pants.
Samu with
the Memphis Rumble.
The nastiest bump of the night. But let's see.
Oh, yeah, that was disgusting.
It's Terry Taylor. Terrific Terry Taylor. Triple T on its way to the ring.
I was hoping to see those neon green and black trunks.
Yeah, well. I think he retired those after one night.
At all.
Lot of red trunks. You would think Terry Taylor would never wear red trunks again after his stint as the Red Rooster, but you'd be wrong. He just loves the color red. DiBiase dumps both birds out, the Birdman and the Rooster, and Terry Taylor's night was very short.
Why the hell was Terry Taylor in the match?
And well, that's a good question because if you guys listen to the last episode, and DiBiase takes the choke slam, they only announced 29 guys for the Rumble. The 30th guy they never announced, Terry Taylor. And there goes DiBiase out of there.
Great spot. Very few people will take a bump like that. I love it. He does it every time.
You know what's coming next?
All right, so I'm gonna get this out right now. When this happened,
oh, there it is.
I was shocked. I was like, holy shit! I was like, holy balls! Shit, look how big this dude is. Right. And then my friend, who was a WCW fan, man, that's Elegante.
Well, that's what I thought immediately. Yeah.
I'm like, he's like, he was in WCW. I'm like, oh, okay. This is cool.
Boom, the Berzerker is gone.
Another one.
Yeah. And boom,
but
Taker's got to turn around
and this dude is massive.
So storyline wise, Taker basically neutered Kamala into becoming a baby face, and Harvey Whippleman wanted revenge, and this is his revenge. He's dropping the bomb on the Undertaker, and it is Elegante.
If they brought in Atom Bomb.
Oh, they had thought of him yet? That would have been great.
Been way better than this shit. Matches would be decent too.
Better than this, anyway.
Anything's better than this.
I love these slow steps. Taker's looking at him like, take another step, ass. Let's do something here. Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing him come down. I mean, immediately I was like, that's Elegante. In a weird suit, weird costume. Like, what's going on here?
I like the fur. They got rid of the fur.
Like, yeah, with the airbrush.
Bad. Yeah, I just like the real fur there looks sweet. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know if
shitty chops.
Anything. Well, Taker should be eliminated right there, right? So he's out. Because this year, people that aren't in the Rumble are allowed to eliminate you.
The rule was never established, so.
Well, the rule changed.
Giant Gonzalez is a rule maker, not a rule breaker.
There you go. I think he's both. He's both, right?
Well, yeah. But now they got to define this. This is our boy Damien DeMento.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention Damien DeMento, number 17 out there. And I love on commentary, they put it over that DeMento's crazy, but he's not crazy enough to get involved with the Giant Gonzalez here. The yet to be named Giant Gonzalez. He doesn't have a name yet. We don't know who he is.
But he is 10 feet tall, according to Bobby Heenan.
He's taller than that sometimes. He's got to be at least 10 feet tall. Yeah. Well, at least he was selling it. You got to give him that. He's trying to put over the.
He's trying to put him over. Absolutely. In his mind, he's probably thinking this is complete garbage.
Well, I'll tell you what. This was the first time they ever left the Undertaker laying. So it wasn't so much I was impressed with the Giant Gonzalez. I was shocked that he was being pushed to the point where he left the Undertaker laying. He had never laid there like that. Couldn't even. We'll see it here in a little bit after he works him over. Taker tries to sit up, but he can't completely sit up. He's so in pain from these chops and leg blocks on the post. But he limps his way to the back. He's going to go seek the Giant Gonzalez. And that nobody had ever done that to the Undertaker up until this point. He had always no-sold everyone by the end. Boy, look at the names are really coming in now. We got literally Bob Backlund's the only one legal in this match at this point, laying out there. And Damien DeMento and now IRS. So yes, the hits are rolling in now.
Yes.
Normally, I'd complain about having to watch the Giant Gonzalez, but he's probably a little more entertaining than whatever we'd be seeing with that.
Yeah.
And here's where he's like, how you like that, Undertaker? Or something like that.
The fact they wasted Undertaker selling for the first time on this guy. Pretty sad. I get it, though.
I get the thought process. He's a friggin' monster. I bet he loved this carnival shit. This, I'm trying to offend anybody, but sideshow freak or whatever,
Come see the 10-foot man.
Yeah.
Pay $50 to see the 10-foot man.
Well, he's like freaking Bigfoot. I mean, look at the costume they have him in.
Yeah.
This is goes right back to the carnival days, just based on what he's wearing.
Yeah. So it's not like I understand the idea. I know the delivery is terrible, but it's like grading a trade on the outcome.
See, here we go. You can't even sit up. So Taker's really selling this. He's putting all of his, effort into this. Unfortunately, what comes out of it are the worst matches of his career. Not counting Goldberg.
Or Shawn and Triple H.
Well, that too. But I mean, Taker has went on record in recent years, just in these documentaries and things, of saying, like, I never forgave Vince. Well, yeah. Tongue in cheek, but I never forgave Vince for the Giant Gonzalez, mess.
Yeah. I know he begged and begged for Yokozuna. He wanted him first. And Vince said, no, I got a better idea for you, pal. And he points to get Giant Gonzalez. And he's like, oh, Jesus. All right, boss.
Tatanka may be the biggest name left for the most part up until near the end anyway. That's I'm not crapping on Tatanka. He was, higher up, and certainly Intercontinental title level guy, but here's Bear's going to raise the Undertaker, raise the dead, so to speak. Yeah, just some odd choices in here. Irwin, Damien DeMento, Bob Backlund's already in there. Ugh. Well, it's just not a pretty art. And it's not even so much that the guys aren't upper card players. They're some of the most boring characters in the company right now.
I think that's what they're going for. Why would you send out like Owen Hart or whoever that can really pop the crowd when the whole point right now is to get the Undertaker in this angle over?
Well, I wouldn't have sent Tatanka out then yet, because I feel like Tatanka would have got a pop. Versus some of the other guys coming up still. We got guys, nobody knows who Carlos Colon is, right? Sags, right. Still Typhoon. I don't think the crowd even makes a noise when Typhoon comes out. El Matador.
Yeah, is Colon doing this for a reason? I don't know. I never understood the Colon, what's going on there. But
I'll tell you what, I'll wait till he comes out to bring up his, I don't know what I don't know what the deal was with Vince at this point, but I know Colon's ties to Gorilla anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a favor to Gorilla. Gorilla calls him a youngster, so he probably paid Gorilla a few bucks under the table, too, to call him a youngster. Hey, these people don't know me yet. Gorilla, tell them I'm 20.
Yeah, you're Carlito, but no. I'm assuming, like, if you're bringing somebody in from Puerto Rico, you're not going to have him out here when nobody cares. Obviously, nobody's going to care at any point you bring him out, but...
No, he gets lost in the shuffle, and you were talking about trying new things. This is your first year where we really... Tenryu and Carlos Colon, that was so random.
Yeah, random shit. At least 94, they do the angle with Lex to give a reason for why Tenryu and Kabuki were there. They were hired by Fuji to take him out.
Right.
So
and now we got Sags in the ring. And Sags is number 20, so we're 2/3 of the way through the Royal Rumble.
And your choice is gone. And my choice is gone.
I didn't even see Virgil go out. I'll be damned. Son of a bitch.
Dropped him.
I was thinking it was Berzerker based on my memory, but you could be right too. But I do remember that it happens like in the background and you miss it and stuff. So
it probably happened at the same time Coco was doing his top rope drop kick. Or
so
shortly before that when Berzerker was working on the floor.
How apropos that the only man we missed getting eliminated is frickin' Virgil. Just an afterthought. Virgil actually replaced Jim Duggan. I forgot to mention that. It was actually Jim Duggan announced 1 week for the Rumble, and then the next week they slid Virgil in there and replaced him on the cards when they were announcing the guys that already announced for the match. So Virgil replaces Duggan, and that's what we get.
And Max Moon replaces Crush.
Crush, right? Yeah, Crush was
still Crush.
He got taken out by Doink.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He had to sell the Doink attack. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Max Moon gets the filler spot there.
I'm sure he was pissed.
And then Terry Taylor gets the mystery spot. Not that they sold it like that, but again, like I said, they announced 29 guys. The 30th spot went to friggin' Terry Taylor.
If that doesn't tell you how depleted this roster is, I don't know what does.
And I love Terry Taylor. He's had some great matches over the years. Terry Taylor has. He was one of my favorites to watch wrestle. No, I know, but I'm saying, for all intents and purposes of what Terry Taylor was here in the WWF, I mean, he was hosting freaking All-American at this point sometimes. So they didn't even know what they were doing with him. And here comes Typhoon, Tugboat, Buffoon. I think Bobby calls them all of those things here. Last time I saw a Tugboat, Typhoon, Buffoon run that fast, he was late to a buffet or something like that, buffet line or whatever.
Late to the Sizzler.
Yeah.
That was a throwback. I miss the Sizzler.
The good old
Those were
days.
the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was everywhere, but we had.
Yeah,
I was just about to say. I don't know if it was everywhere, but we had Ponderosa, and yeah, that was good. Good times.
They were like right across the street from each other in my area, so it was like we barely went to Sizzler. It wasn't around nearly as long, but COVID put Ponderosa out of its misery. Sad.
Yeah, it's appropriate to talk about buffets when Typhoon's in the ring. So it works. It works.
Well, we'll talk about him again in a little bit because this shit makes no sense to me. This is my biggest takeaway, which is sad to say, but one of the things that I've always remembered about this match is coming up, and this is what I thought as a kid. It never made any sense to me. So, all right, we'll talk about it when we get there. But stupid, completely
rough.
Stupid.
Hey man, in a few months, Typhoon will be the Shockmaster. So things do get worse for Mr. Ottman.
Making an ass out of himself. Pays to be Dusty, related to Dusty, right?
Yeah. Still pays today to be related to Dusty.
I will say, I'm not. There's no redeeming qualities of Typhoon, but I actually like his big splash. To me, he got pretty high for his splash for a big guy.
Afa making his return out again with Fatu this time.
I've seen these guys too recently, not Afa, but Samu and Fatu. I've seen them at Heroes and Legends. That was interesting.
Oh, Fatu laying it in on Typhoon. Yeah, they're Typhoon or Fatu's changed, man, from Headshrinker to Make a Difference Fatu. It was like, I'm just supposed to ignore this guy was a freaking wild Samoan type character. Now he's telling me to say no to drugs. So 1 week he's acting like he's on them, and the next week.
Right. It would have been cool if they would have went through with what was it, Silk and Smooth or whoever.
Right. Samu and Rosie, I think it was.
Rosie?
It was Rosie or Jamal, I believe. One of them.
No, they weren't that old.
Yeah. Sure. Pretty sure.
No. The Samoan Gangsters from ECW?
Yeah, Samoan Gangster Party, yeah.
They were not Jamal and Rosie.
No, one of them was Samu.
Oh, yeah, okay. So who was the other one? There's no way it was. There's no way. They're not that old.
Well,
because Umaga was like 32 or 33 when he died. Rosie was only like 34.
Well, it was.
They'd have been like 14.
I have no idea. That I don't know. You can Google it if you want. I was pretty sure it was like Rosie or something, I thought. But I was curious where they were going to go with that, but maybe Vince just didn't want to go with that whole Samoan slanging crack there on the aisleway of the WWF back in, what was that, 95? 96, going into 96. Here we go. Who we got now? It's Earthquake! Number 23, Earthquake. Making his way on Typhoon in the ring. So the natural disaster. Of course, for those who don't know, Earthquake's already put in his notice. He's kind of been gone. He does come back and work a handful of matches on some house shows here to put over Yoko. He works the Rumble for the payday, and he'll work one more match on TV to, I think, put over Bam Bam in February. Uh-oh, the disaster's going at it. Boom. Let me know when we get to the part of the match you were talking about. You wanted to talk about, I think, bring up Typhoon. What's odd here...
It was Rosie. Wow.
Okay. Wow, you're still Googling that? All
right. Dude, he was like... That was the very beginning of his career, was 90... I did not realize he was that long. Wow.
Typhoon working over his own partner here.
He was Big Matty Smalls.
Right, yeah, and a couple other names. They changed it several times in ECW, yeah. Typhoon looking for the Avalanche. Oh, and he gets dumped by his own partner.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is I thought Yoko was in the ring with them, but I guess not. But
okay.
Well, why didn't they work together to eliminate everybody? They're a tag team. Why are they going after each other and getting rid of them when they should? Just common sense says that Yoko's coming. We need you in here to get rid of him.
I think Typhoon he didn't understand that kind of concept, because you can go back to Royal Rumble 91 when he was Tugboat, a babyface, then trying to dump the Hulkster out. Yeah. So, and I think he even actually throws Hogan out of a Battle Royal on Saturday night's main event too. So Typhoon just, you can't trust him in the Battle Royals. But the one point
at all.
And the one point out,
Bushwhackers.
Well, that's true. He turned on the Bushwhackers. That was terrible. I remember being at my cousin's house when that happened. Oh my gosh! No, actually, I was like, well, that's shitty. Why is Tugboat turning heel? Like the last guy I would ever expect to turn heel.
On the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, I know. Really, that's gonna get you over.
Bushwhackers.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
Vince took that turn serious. Here he is, the youngster Carlos Colon, on his way to the ring. Says nobody after he's been in the business for a couple decades.
Right. There's no way he's a youngster when his head's all bladed to hell.
Yeah, I know, right? He's got blade jobs that are older than a youngster. Colon, for those who don't know,
I was old as Tatanka.
When Carlos started up the World Wrestling Council, the Capital Sports Promotions in Puerto Rico, the big, basically the WWF of Puerto Rico, back in the early 70s, Gorilla Monsoon was his money partner. They were partners. They co-owned the company. I think Victor Jovica also owned a third of it as well. Eventually, Gorilla sold his share to Carlos in the early 80s, I think around 82-ish. But Gorilla would come there all the time and work on top, and he did a boxing match. I don't know if you've ever seen that boxing match with Andre. That was actually not in the WWF, that was part of the Puerto Rico promotion over there, where Gorilla takes the bump on the floor in the monsoon, literally the monsoon, the rain, lands in the tarp of water. It's good stuff if anybody wants to go find it. Yeah.
That car, I've seen that. Yeah, it was on Classics on Demand 1 month.
So even after Gorilla retired from the WWF ring in 80, he would still go over and work a match here or there in 81, 82 for Puerto Rico, because he was there to make money. It was, part of his... so he knew who Carlos Colon was. So for him to call Colon a youngster is just silly.
Probably just, his friend. It's a rib, probably.
I'm sure Carlos liked it. I mean, it strokes his ego. For those who don't know, Colon is the father of Carlito.
And what? And Primo and Epico,
Primo,
right?
Epico was a cousin, and Primo. Carlito and Primo, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot those guys existed, man. The fucking Matador's version 2.
Rosie. I can't believe that was Rosie. Speaking of Matadors.
Yeah. Version 1.
Nice
right
segue.
Here.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed. It's something I've always picked up on with Gorilla, is he didn't cuss. He didn't like using the word damn or hell, and he got on to Bobby when he would say it.
Ooh,
and stuff like that.
Fatu out.
But Gorilla cussed here. A hell, if you want to consider a hell a cuss word. But Bobby... or he's about to get eliminated and he comes back in, or it may have been right there. Bob Backlund just eliminated Fatu, and the crowd gave him one hell of a reaction. So, even Gorilla was impressed with Backlund by this point.
Well, that's the story they're telling to get people to pay attention. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but I've always picked it up because Piper would cuss. He's like, I know, Gorilla, I'm sorry. I'm just getting into it or whatever.
Right.
And so Gorilla was always against it, and for him to cuss, they're really, really trying to get Backlund over. But I don't know what the point is.
Vince saw something. What was the point of rehiring him? Obviously, Vince thought that there was a place for Bob in this character in this era, and there clearly wasn't. I mean, from day one, there he is. He's spent. Bob's spent. Yeah. One of the many faces about that, and then when we wind down to Yoko and Bob and things like that at the end, with his eyes bulge out. That's another one.
Yeah,
that always sticks with me. Up next is going to be number 26. So we're getting near the end there. It's Gorilla to take it down to the nitty gritty. I should note when you were sitting there for 5 minutes looking up the frickin' Samoan Gangsta Party, it was Typhoon and Earthquake going at it. I was going to mention the crowd made zero noise for that showdown, which is crazy. They were tag team partners and they're big guys, so the crowd typically makes noise. which we'll see like when Quake and Yoko square off here. Oh, here we go. Rick Martel, another guy who's actually gone from the company by this point, but he's collecting a paycheck here.
Going right after his partner.
Rick was an odd one, man. He would just come and go as he pleased. Like the door was always open for him, and he would just disappear for periods of time, then just come back like he never left.
Yeah, he's gone, and then we'll see him around Survivor Series, and then he's gone again.
Right,
and that may be it.
And here goes IRS.
No, he comes back in what, 95?
He does the Rumble in 95, but I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So. But to get back to Backlund, you're putting all this time and effort in this match into getting him over, and then nothing happens.
Nothing.
Jobs the Razor.
Jobs the Razor.
Jobs at Mania.
In like 4 minutes.
And he's gone.
To an inside cradle. Because Bob was like, I ain't taking that move. Yeah. Bob's not really on TV. Yeah. They don't really do anything with him.
So what's the end game here?
No,
why
and
are you doing this
I agree with you.
43-year-old Bob Backlund.
And that was my thought.
Why would you do this for a 25-year-old Tatanka or whatever?
Right.
Or somebody like that.
I would never have expected Bob to last like he lasted in this match when I watched this match initially live. So when he did, my thought was, oh my God, they're going to do something with this guy who just is so out of place. I don't even know if he was in place in the 70s, but he's so out of place here that, this is only 93.
We're still a year and a half away, or pretty much 2 years away from his title win.
Yeah, it's amazing how long. I'm just thinking maybe Vince had respect for him because he worked for his dad and on top for all those years, just wanted to do something nice for him. But yeah, they do really go out of their way to try to get this over, and then they don't even capitalize on it. They don't even try to follow up on it. And here we go, lucky number 27. John Studd came in at 27 and he won it. We'll see what Yokozuna can do with this number.
Oh, man.
Fuji with those bad legs, do you think he's going to leave ringside or is he going to stay out there? I see Afa wasn't allowed to stay at ringside, so.
And neither was Paul Bearer.
Oh, good point. Jack Doan out there acting as a suit.
There goes Fuji. Yeah, if Fuji leaves, then he comes back.
Oh, very good, boy-san. See, I would have, if this was real, I would not have went right after Yokozuna. Sags, well, he's a nasty boy. He doesn't really have the best brains in the biz. Yoko going to no-sell Tatanka. I remember watching this match on a house show. This was shortly after Tatanka actually had lost to Ludwig Borga, though. And boom, just like that, Tatanka thrown out like nothing. I think I would have kept him around and maybe dumped some of these other guys.
I would have too. How was that match? It'd be interesting.
It was short. It was short, not good. And Yoko pinned him in like 5 minutes with a leg drop. Boom, Cologne gone. Here we go.
So they were clearly done with. They're clearly done with Tatanka at that point.
Earthquake says, "Let's get it on."
And look at Yokozuna. Come on, big boy. Trying to make me shake.
So you see the noise there for the Quake and Yokozuna showdown. There was actually zero noise for the Typhoon and Quake showdown. So it clearly wasn't Earthquake that was the issue there.
No. Typhoon.
Yeah.
Talk about another excellent big man. Both of these two. You said Boss Man and Bam Bam earlier.
Right.
These two are right up there.
And I didn't appreciate a lot of these guys as a kid. They bored the piss out of me, to be honest. Not Boss Man. He was, another level, but Yokozuna, I didn't do that. Show me a kid that was like, oh, I love Yokozuna's work rate for his size. Earthquake as a heel, kind of slow, plodding, but he would throw a drop kick and things, but he was a heel, so he wasn't a cool heel, so I didn't really get into it. But when he turned babyface, I loved him. Loved Earthquake. When he came back in 94, I was like gung-ho, like, yeah, push this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't last very long. Boom. Quake misses
there. No, they're good. They're good for what they are. This is nuts right here. Just picked his ass up. It would have been a lot better if he just got him out right away, but that's still pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, Quake goes over. And Yokozuna
just bellied his ass out of the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's funny here is obviously Yoko, not a real sumo wrestler. Earthquake started off as a real sumo wrestler.
Interesting, huh? We'll see that later on in
unfortunately
Monday Night Raw, right?
Yeah.
That's in 94 though, right?
That may be. You may be right there. Oh, totally missed. Owen Hart came in. Sorry, Rocket. So we only got 2 guys left. Rocket. Owen Hart was 28, so that leaves 2 more. And then the field will be complete. So it's one of these guys and then 2 others that can win this whole thing. And Virgil's out, so my pick is gone. Tito, I don't even know what happened there. Can you imagine Tito truly believed that just 2-3 months prior to this that he was in the running to be the WWF champion? I don't know. El Matador working his way back up. Here we go, number 29, the Repo Man. He's kind of let me down. He doesn't have the Macho Man's hat on that he stole on the prior Raw, Steve.
Yeah, it would have been nice if you would have brought it out, especially for who comes out next. But
right.
Regarding the point on Tito, it makes sense if they were trying to. I think he said they were trying to expand into Mexico more and kind of get that demographic going. So it makes sense, but realistically, come on now.
Yeah, looking at Tito here, no, he's served his purpose.
No. Yeah. I mean, he was good at what he was doing, but he's been a jobber for too long, and I think it would have took a lot of work for him to get even anywhere near main event level. And let's be real, the roster here is not good enough to build up a guy from the bottom. Who's he going to be to establish himself as a main event player?
Are you going to bury the 2 heels that are worth anything? Here we go. We got everybody. I always love these spots where all the guys would gang up on the big guy and try to dump him. They did it with Andre in 89. They did it with Earthquake in 91. Actually, they did it with Earthquake in 90 and 91 because it worked in 90.
Yeah.
Didn't work so much in 91. Took the Hulkster, brother.
Speaking of that, they're coming out with this Canadian Earthquake figure, which is going to be sweet. Has the Canadian flag on his chest.
I was going to ask if he's wearing the turd brown.
No, he's wearing the blue. I don't think anybody wants to see the turd brown.
Turd brown singlet Earthquake, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what he was thinking.
This is probably like
here
the
we
gear
go
that he brought in when they got signed.
Number 30.
Does he get a good pop? I can't remember.
I'm sure he does.
Randy Savage to a standing ovation. And you know what kind of...
Oh, that answers your question.
Nice big crowd.
Nice big pop for the Macho Man. And so the crowd's dead at points in this match, and rightfully so. Damien, DeMento, IRS, Sags, Typhoon, right in a row. I mean, and you have to, this crowd's a terrible crowd. Well, no, not really. Listen to him during the first half of the match. Listen to him when Earthquake and Yokozuna go head-to-head. Listen to him when Savage comes on. It's just, there's nobody really out here worth cheering, to be honest with you at this point.
Yeah, they don't have enough people on the roster to maintain the star power that you're used to with the Royal Rumble.
Right.
I mean, you're not everybody was a guys like the Roadies and then followed by Undertaker and then the British Bulldog and then Mr. Perfect and then Hulk Hogan. Like, you just don't have that.
No, yeah, you're right. And boom, Owen inadvertently eliminates Sags when Martel moves. Nice dropkick, nice bump by Sags out of the ring. Now, this is the third skin the cat in this match. I don't know if we've ever even seen one in the Rumble before.
Come on, Owen.
Owen, you can do it. There we go. If Skinner can do it, you can do it, Owen. Come on.
It goes right after Yoko. That's smart.
So we're down to what you see Yoko in the ring right? What is we down to 6 guys? I see Backlund, Owen. Guys. Well, here goes Owen. What a nasty bump he takes. Oh, man. I can't believe he didn't actually tear his knee because what a bump.
Right.
Savage tosses the Repo Man, and he'll get revenge on the Repo Man on Raw. Go get his hat back, yeah. We're down to the final 4. It's Savage, Martel, Yokozuna, Bob Backlund. Martel was always one of my guilty pleasures. We would always mark out whenever it would come down to Martel and whoever in the Royal Rumbles. He was always there near the end.
You could clearly tell Vince trusted him enough.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because he was down there in 91 at the very end until Bulldog eliminated him. So.
Funny story real quick. I know my brother would want me to tell this, so I'll tell it because he's probably thinking it right now. When we were kids, we would play Royal Rumble matches with all the guys, and I would always have Rick Martel. Well, I wouldn't. Once upon a time, we get it down to like Warrior and Rude or whoever, but I have Rick Martel hiding under the ring, and my brother doesn't even know it. And I take Rick Martel out, and he dumps them both, and Rick Martel wins the Royal Rumble. My brother still brings it up to we get a laugh out of that all the time. He's one of my guilty pleasures, and I don't say that in a bad way because he was a tremendous worker, but because he was never a main eventer in the WWF. But I always wanted him to be. I just always loved Rick Martel.
I always wanted him to be in that. I did too. I don't, and I absolutely love the 1990 look with the perm and the blue
oh yeah
sweaters around his neck and the blue trunks and everything. Just the perm and the puffy hair was excellent. He loves that spot too because the Bulldog eliminated him the same way.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Here we go. Here's back. Look at this. Oh my God. Bob Backlund eliminates the model.
Macho was probably like, F that. I'm not doing it, brother, or whatever he would say. No way, sir. No way. But
no way, never.
A lot better if Macho had the Backlund spot.
You mean throughout the entire match?
Bring Backlund in at 30 and let Macho do the work from 2 all the way on, like that underdog
I would not have minded Backlund coming in at 30, but as you know, this is basically it for Savage. Oh, what a shitty way. Bob Backlund, 1 hour, 1 minute, and 10 seconds in the ring. Certainly a new record at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Macho ain't signing up for all that, but. They're kind of going with that, former champion getting one last surprise run at the possible title match to relive his old glory. That would fit perfect for Macho Man. And he would have been a lot better in the ring for an hour and 10 minutes.
And I think Vince strategically put Savage in here at 30 because Vince was pretty much done with Savage at this point as a full-timer. He was back to the part-time gig again here. Not because Savage wanted to, but that's just the way Vince saw him. But I get it. I also get it from another standpoint. Savage is the freshest man out there at this point. So if Yokozuna can eliminate Savage, he's done, he's beat the freshest wrestler. He's also beaten a former world champion and a main eventer in Randy Savage. And there's no excuse because Yoko was 27, Randy Savage is 30. So if you're looking at it from that storytelling point, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have just been better, and I think you could actually do something with Macho Man. I know he didn't want to, but Macho Man adapted with the times, and he fits in '93 clearly. His work from the '80s was something that you see in the '90s, so he's definitely more than capable of holding his own in this time frame. Whereas Backlund, like you said, stuck in the '70s. So,
yeah, that's odd that Randy Savage is too old to work as a full-timer, but let's give Bob Backlund a push.
But I've also read, too, that Macho was done. Like, he wanted to retire, possibly do a family with Liz there for a little bit, but... Not
here. They've been...
No, not here, but when he retired at WrestleMania 7...
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
He was done, but... He wanted to come back, and obviously they did kind of win with him because they had nowhere else to go in '92. So,
yeah, that I believe. I don't believe Vince was trying to force him out at that point.
No, but I think that '92 run kind of gave him the itch to be that top guy again.
Boom. Oh, it's very possible. And look, here we go. Yokozuna wobbly. Savage going up for another double axe handle. Can he make the big man leave his feet?
Then we get this again at what, March to WrestleMania 9?
Down to the knee. Yeah, I know they work again. Yeah.
Yeah.
In an actual match.
That was a good match too.
Boom! Nice super kick by Yokozuna. Nice thrust kick. Crescent kick would be what Gorilla would call it there.
I think this is it too with the white trunks for Yoko.
Oh, is he going to change over to the red?
Yeah, I think so. It's unfortunate. I always like the white. I like the white and red when he first came in.
You got to change, pal. Your shit stains are showing on that white.
When your ass gets bigger and bigger and it's stretching those spandex more and more, it's unflattering, I'm sure.
He's laying out the Macho Man here. He's doing a good job holding his own out there. The belly to belly, the leg drop, everything but the bonsai drop at this point. If there's one thing you expect out of Savage, he's going to make you look good.
Oh, yeah.
And Yokozuna's being groomed here. I didn't realize it at this point. I was very ignorant to what the plans were with Yokozuna as a kid, as a young teen. So this here just kind of shocked me because I wasn't used to guys coming in and getting a push so fast. And at this point, he'd beaten like Virgil and shit like that. Now all of a sudden, here he is.
Right.
You know, I don't understand. The fat guy usually gets dumped out by 9 people. I don't understand what's going on here. And then it's Macho Man, so he's always possible to eliminate anybody. So I was really taken aback. I was like, oh, they're going this way.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't like super excited for it either, to be honest with you.
I wasn't either. It was because I was probably a little bit more naive than you. I'm like, who the heck's going to stop this guy? There's nobody that can beat him. There's no way Bret Hart's beating him. So it was like, you felt kind of stuck. Like, who can take this guy down?
Here we go.
That was my mind. That was my mindset. So when what happened at Mania happened, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Right.
I didn't mind it. So,
well,
I'm with you. It was. It felt flat. It felt flat.
And Savage moves this time, and is Yoko going to take his very first bump?
I love that still front.
Oh, here we go. Oh no. Here's the elbow. Make the cover. 1, 2, wait a minute, it's the Rumble. And throw yourself out. There we go. And that's the match. Oh, that finish, it never gets old. Another joke that's lasted nearly 30 years among, I'm sure, the masses.
Everybody. Yeah. Everybody who watched this. What the heck is he doing? Why are you pinning him?
This is not 1984, Randy. You don't have the hops you used to have. You can't pull that off without making it look obvious. Savage tries to make Yoko look awesome there by having him basically push off a cover and throw him over the top rope. But you can clearly see Savage jump up to his feet and then eliminate himself. But hey, I mean...
And the Savage is struggling while these idiots are walking down the aisle.
I always get a kick out of this, too. Savage is like selling. He's down on the ground. He's half dead. And Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, they're just actors. They have no idea what the fuck's going on. They don't know anything about wrestling. They just come out and smile and celebrate right over Savage's body. It's so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. But there's your winner, Yokozuna, number 27, and eliminates the Macho Man Randy Savage amongst some other guy, Earthquake, Owen Hart, Bob Backlund. There he is. And Julius Caesar is getting out. Yeah, we're on.
No, I mean,
I know, Bobby.
Are we on?
Unfortunately,
Monsoon.
Unfortunately, that's not on here.
It's not on here?
No. For whatever reason, they don't play the WrestleMania theme. Yeah, I'm positive. They play some generic theme here rather than the WrestleMania theme, and they play it over the ending with Yoko and Bret, which we'll see in a minute. And you don't hear anything. You don't hear Bob.
Oh.
And it ruins the whole thing.
Oh, the Are You On? Oh, okay, my bad. I thought they said they didn't. You didn't. I thought you meant they didn't show them actually staring each other down.
Oh no, they show that. You just can't hear Bobby speaking.
Oh, okay.
Because it's overdubbed with some generic music here. Why they can't play their own WrestleMania theme, beyond me.
Well, the problem is they get rights back from these things, but they're not going to go back and re-edit this stuff. It's already done. It's in the can. We're done. We're not messing with it.
Right. Well, this is the network, or the old, version of this, too, because I noticed they've edited out the F. Let's listen. Here we go. And so here it is, what you were talking about. This had never been done before, like you mentioned earlier in the episode, is Bret confronting the winner, Yokozuna, all these press back here. They're taking pictures, and Yokozuna celebrating his win, and Bret kind of shoves the WWF title in his face. You're not taking this from me. That never been done before. It felt more professional wrestling-y, made it more real, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And the champion's showing he ain't no bitch.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
And like you said, in what made it feel even more like that wasn't supposed to happen, it made it feel even more real, was Bobby Heenan selling it. Unfortunately, we can't pick it up there, but in the original live broadcast version, Bobby Heenan's still on mic, Gorilla's not. And Bobby's like, are we picking this up? Are we on? Are we still on? Are we live?
Monsoon,
yeah. So he's calling for Gorilla, and it made it feel very authentic, very real. It added to the realism of it, so I really loved it. Bobby sold it well. Those guys did a great job, and I wasn't really looking forward to a Yokozuna Bret Hart match at WrestleMania, but that was really cool.
Yeah, I definitely like that. It's memorable, and I don't think they've ever done it since, something like that in this time frame. So, just one of those things that, like I said, throughout the show, there's a lot of things that they were messing with, or like you said, maybe Jerry Jarrett had his hand on it. Maybe not the full control of the show, but he had his hands in a lot of things, because that show's different, not in a wrestling or a match type from other pay-per-views, but the presentation and the production is definitely unique in the things that they were doing. Like, how many off-location interviews like that did they have on pay-per-view ever? Like, never, none. Like, that's the first time they did it, was being in Arco. So, very cool, very unique. There's a lot of cool things on this show that are different, that hopefully, maybe people haven't even realized or didn't even pick up on or understand the difference. So like, this is done a million times now, but yeah, in '93 it wasn't. So I've always liked the Rumble '93. It gets shit on just because it's different. It's not one of the best by any means, but it's not one of the worst either. It's kind of just there, and if you lived it and grew up with it, it's okay. You accept it.
Yeah, you accept it for what it is, right? Exactly. And so, like, from top to bottom, you have the Steiners basically being groomed as the future tag team champions, which they do become. It's an underwhelming run, but no fault of their own. But the Steiners look good there. Boss Man, I know that wasn't his last match, but for all intents and purposes, it should have been his last match.
Yeah.
Again, trying to get Bam Bam over as the monster heel. Shawn and Marty, that was to be continued. Unfortunately, Marty gets fired at the next set of tapings. He'll come back later on and actually beat Shawn for at least a couple weeks for the Intercontinental title. And Razor and Bret, it was a good little match. I would like to see more from Razor there. I think he could have done more if Bret had let him, if that's really what happened. It's back to the drawing board for Razor, and he kind of gets lost here for a while. I mean, he's wrestling Bob Backlund, for God's sakes, at WrestleMania. But he's also working on a knee injury that continues to linger through the next couple months, so it is what it is. And then, of course, the Royal Rumble, Yokozuna's all set up. He looks like the monster that he is going into WrestleMania, so they accomplished that, what they were set out to do there. The only thing that puzzled me was Lex Luger comes in, he challenges Mr. Perfect. Meanwhile, I'm clamoring for Lawler and Perfect. So I was kind of bummed, but we never even see that mentioned again. It's just, Perfect and Luger, and there we go. Off to the races with those two. Yeah,
they accomplished a lot in the 2.5 hours that they had, and I already know where it's going, but I'm looking forward to watching the shows and discussing them further as the weeks go on here. But like I said, it's one of my favorite Royal Rumbles, but it's more nostalgic than anything. It takes me back to I still remember the day. I remember what I ate for like dinner that night, and I kind of remember what I did. I was glued to the pre-show. Like, the one I recorded had a weather alert, and it was showing a blue map of the state that I live in, and it has like the Doppler radar going around, and they're cutting it, and then all of a sudden it cuts to Sean Mooney. So very cool, and I have fondness for the show. So maybe a little biased, but it is what it is. And we can't forget Giant Gonzalez too. This is his debut.
Oh yeah,
it's not a good thing, but it was. It makes sense. The delivery's bad. That's the execution's not very good, but I see why they were going that way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say on paper, but Visually, I get it, but unfortunately, it's all downhill from here.
My thing is everybody craps on trades like 4 years later, like in sports. But to me, like I live off the principle that you can't grade a trade based on how it turns out. You base it on, did the team make the right decision for what they needed at that time? Yeah, if you trade away a player and all of a sudden they become a 10-time All-Star and a Hall of Famer, it may not have happened unless they did get traded. So it's not the team's fault that they let that go. It's what they needed at the time. So they had to go somewhere. They wasn't going with Yoko like Taker wanted, but who else was he going to work? I don't know anybody on the roster that you can point to that says, well, he'd work good with face Undertaker.
Right.
Who is it? Bam Bam?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you could do that, but then that's the end of Bam Bam, right? I mean, where does he go from there?
Yeah, exactly. So it should have stopped at WrestleMania definitively, but shit, we get all the way to SummerSlam somehow.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a rough patch for the Undertaker.
Yes.
We'll talk all about that in the upcoming episodes. We'll be back next time. We'll actually cover, I think, January 29th all the way to March 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, I'm calling that episode February in the WWF 1993. And we're going to cover a whole lot of stuff going on. It's all on the road to WrestleMania, Steve.
Yeah, I can't wait. Another terrible pay-per-view that people say is at the bottom of the list when it comes to WrestleMania. I tend to disagree a little bit, but I like WrestleMania 4 too, so I got unique taste, I guess.
That's a good word for it. Unique taste. There you go. Yeah, no, WrestleMania 9 is definitely its own entity for a lot of reasons, and we'll be touching on that because after we do the February and then the March episodes of The Grenade, we will be doing our next watch-along here on the show will be WrestleMania 9. So we get to live it in all its glory as it's happening. But for right now, Steve, I guess our time is up. So I want to thank you for...
Is WrestleMania in March? Is it in March or...
April 4.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're about 2 episodes away from that one?
April 4, yeah. Cool. 3 episodes. We got February, we got March, and then we'll be doing WrestleMania.
The 3rd episode would be the WrestleMania. Okay,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to thank you again for stopping by on the Grenade here and calling the action here for Royal Rumble 93, the watch-along.
Yeah, it was fun. I love the watch-alongs. They're the easiest things to do. And hopefully I learned something that Rosie was wrestling in 1995. And hopefully you guys learned something too. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm still learning new things all the time as well. So it's always fun. It's always educational. I educate myself sometimes. Google educates me. Steve, you educate me on things that you hear and pick up from these signings and other things like that as well. So it's always a fun time. And it was nice to be able to talk to somebody while some of that dead air was happening during that Rumble match and that Boss Man match, which I'm still cringing.
And the Luger match and the Luger debut.
Yeah, that too. That was a little more Lex. Anyways, guys, stay tuned. We will be back very soon with the February 1993 WWF episode of The Grenade. We'll also be posting a lot more videos on our YouTube account, Wrestling Memory Grenade YouTube account, and that'll also be on Twitter and Facebook as well. So for Ray Russell and Steven Eckstedt, thank you guys for being here as part of the 1993 Royal Rumble Watch-Along.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
We'd like to thank our loyal fan base of listeners as you guys continue to listen, download, and subscribe to shows. We can't thank you guys enough, and please continue to spread the word and retweet all the posts from our Twitter account to help the brand continue to grow. Of course, all of our shows are available on WrestleCopia.com, but you can also find The Grenade on all of your favorite podcast streaming apps. We're available on Apple, Spotify, Google Pod, Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, you name it, and we're probably there. And a reminder that you too can win free prizes as listeners of The Grenade as part of our continuous free prize giveaway offers. All you have to do is follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Grenade. That's at RASSLIN Grenade. It's that simple. Be a follower of The Grenade and you're automatically entered in each and every free prize giveaway contest. As always, we encourage you to stop on over to our very own Patreon account, which you can find at patreon.com/WrestleCopia, where we offer an insane 14 tiers of goodies with prices available for everyone's price range. Prices start as low as $1, a $1 tier, to simply show your support of the fledgling podcast network. Or you can select our $5 tier, the All Access tier, which is always offering up rare goodies, as well as complete access to our entire watch-along series, featuring prior WWF and WCW pay-per-views and special events that make a great complimentary piece to our Monday Warfare podcast. We're also making our way through the entire WWF Coliseum video series as a watch-along project on Patreon. Other shows in our watch-along series include episodes of WWF Saturday Night's Main Event, the classic Steamboat vs. Ric Flair 1-hour match from Clash of the Champions 6, and so much more. We're always adding new content and shows to the watch-along series as part of the All Access tier over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. That's $5 for the All Access tier. And again, we thank all of our loyal listeners for everything you've done. Hey guys, just want to say thank you again for joining Steve and I as part of the Royal Rumble 93 watch-along episode of The Grenade. We have more watch-alongs on the way as we continue through 1993 here on The Grenade Show, WrestleMania, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, but we also plan to add multiple watch-along specials to our Patreon account. In the coming weeks, we'll be adding some house shows that maybe we'll be able to tell you how to get your hands on those house shows to watch along with us, as well as some of the USA specials like March to WrestleMania 9, which will be added in just a week or so. So you guys want to keep checking back to our Patreon account for all new watch-along videos and our watch-along series over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. And that $5 tier is what you want to hit. That's the All Access tier. Yes, we do have 14 tiers of goodies, but the $5 tier is my personal favorite to shill because it's all access. You get everything from every tier below the $5 tier, as well as our entire Patreon watch-along series, which covers everything from several Saturday Night's Main Events to Clash of the Champions to tons of WCW and WWF pay-per-views from the Monday Night War era. They make great complimentary pieces to our Monday Warfare podcast, by the way, but they're great standalones as well to Coliseum home videos and everything in between. Like I said, we'll be adding things from 1993 here in the WWF as part of that watch-along series, USA specials, and other things of that nature. But for now, we will be back next time with the WWF in February of 1993 episode of The Grenade. It's going to be fun as we take a look at Doink debuting in the ring. The Narcissist makes his debut in the ring. The Giant Gonzalez. Okay, maybe I'm not selling it too well here by announcing some of that, but no, you get my drift. There's a lot of changes in the WWF. We're heading into WrestleMania 9. It's going to be a fun time. I look forward to being back next week with WWF's February 1993 episode. And all right, with all of that out of the way, it's time once again, time to say goodbye, but we will return next week. And until that time, this is Ray Russell for my co-host this week, Steven Eckstadt, saying from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin and we'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. See you next week. Don't miss it. Be there. Steve, are we on? Hello?